Hey, welcome to the stream tonight. Ryan, it's so good to have you sitting right here next to me.
Wait, is it this way?
Yeah,
No.
that's right. Hey,
uh,
you're still to the right side of me. So, hey,
Hey,
what is up tonight? We're on Double Drop Down, the Hangout with Adam and Ryan. Ryan, you look like you are in a white or beige box right now. Not the typical background that we're used to seeing when you have to remote into the show. So, what's going on over there?
well, typically I've been biting Adam style and doing uplighting and colors and all of that. So it blends a little better here. But no, we're getting our house up for sale. And so, you know what people don't necessarily love is blue rooms with neon LED lighting. It's a small aspect of it. So anyway, so we were painting our whole house beige and gray and all of the normal adult colors that a house that goes up for sale would have. So yeah, I mean, it's a little boring now, but when we get the new house, it'll be this sweet, even whole new cooler look.
I like a Palacio studio room that's much
Oh
bigger
man,
than the double
it's gonna
drop
be
down
sweet. And
studios.
maybe not in a basement. I mean, who knows? But that could be cool too. But anyway, so I appreciate, you being able to be flexible and hanging out with me remotely tonight.
Heck yeah! Well, it's for everyone else that's remote. It feels very much the same. I just don't get to punch you in the shoulder like I normally do.
Oh, you're like all the time. Our pre-show ritual of me punching Ryan.
Hey, but we do have an amazing show for you tonight. There's actually every time we do. Oh yeah, cheers, Ryan. Cheers.
Cheers.
You don't get your delicious old fashioned that I would have created
I
on
know. I
this.
just had to grab beers really quick out of the refrigerator.
Well, it's funny because you were going to be coming down to a concert, which I stupidly bought the tickets to the wrong concert months ago. That's already surpassed. And as I look at my tickets, sold out. Can't hang out with you tomorrow. I hope you have a good time. You should take some pictures and send that out. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I know when because Adam was like, "Oh, I got on there immediately, ordered all these," and so I was like, "Oh my God, I got to jump on then," and then now months later, not even gonna show. Sucks.
I
I'm
know.
sorry. I'm sorry that you had to spend that money. And you didn't even get to go to that show, and you missed this show, and it's too late to buy tickets. It's like the worst of all
It
worlds.
is. It is. But we still look at everything as like shit happens. We're gonna move
Sure,
on. We're gonna just
totally.
make it what it is. So I'm gonna just drink 25 old fashions tomorrow, and everything will be perfectly fine. I'm
Uh,
just
we'll
kidding.
we'll celebrate Adam's funeral on the next double drop down where we find our new host.
Well, tonight let's do a quick rundown of the show. I've been working on some 3D prints. I want to mess with some
Ooh,
stuff in
yeah,
a little bit here
yeah,
because I got some challenges. I got some work that I'm doing for Kylia, so I'm excited about this one. If you check out her stream, she's almost at like 300 followers, I think it is. And she's
nice,
been killing it with a
well
bunch of
deserved.
stuff. So hell yeah to Kylia. But anyhow, she has a festival that we're going to talk about that I'm doing a little 3D print. I guess this is becoming a tradition. I don't know. What's a tradition? Multiple years, like 10 years or something? Anyways, this will be year 2, me helping her out. We're going to get into some Drawful 2.
Yeah,
So get your phones out if you know what
yeah,
Drawful's all about, because we're going to get in that in a little bit here. We got a slew of AI videos and things to talk about, so we won't even go through all the things here, but we have about 5 different
fun,
things.
creative, yeah, like creative news things, AI stuff, obviously, but stuff that has been brought up in the chat, like in the Discord chat and everything. If you're not on that, check that out. And yeah, some like really big. I mean, all of those like Apple announcements and Google announcements happened, and we'll talk a little bit about the ones that we think are fun.
Heck yeah. And then talking about Discord, if you've been in the Discord, there's been a battle brewing. Ryan versus Adam. Adam versus Ryan. This is
That's right.
actually classic kind of us. And so there's some we're going to come to an agreement tonight. We're going to try to figure out maybe some next steps with the game. We had some ideas. And honestly, if you were here, I might still punch. No, I'm just kidding. I would. I think we need to duke this one out and get some things laid down. There's just some things I hope we can move forward tonight, as far as some concepts, some things that we need that are outside of the game, so we can get some folks excited about it.
And You know what I was thinking? I mean, in this scenario, you can mute me. You could just shut off the Zoom call. I'm like very much, in your
So
grasp
as I was saying with double drop down here today,
You're like, anyway, I think we just made the decision. We're definitely going this direction.
and then of course we're gonna just be doing some stuff with the game. I did a lot of work on the game and playing with some stuff. I came up with I took your drinking animation of the character, so we're gonna get to see
Nice.
that tonight, and then I think we're
Cool.
gonna work on some of the level design and just getting it to be a little bit more fun. So let us jump into it. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Maybe a video game playthrough later. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But if not,
Yeah, I mean, it might be fun. We might be so enthralled with playing Drawful that we need to jump into another game.
All right. Well, what I wanted to do tonight is I want to talk about this project. And so what I'm going to show up on the screen here, and let's see if I can get it focused, is if you know Sea of Thieves, this is an emblem from within the game. I guess one of the more important ones that you can get as you play through the game. And so one of the things that Kylie likes to do is she has a lot of volunteers at her event. So she goes somewhere, has a whole I think it's Festival of League, I think is what this means. It says FOL24 on the back here. All I know is I 3D print these cool things for her. The thing about this one though is, Ryan, is there, aside from the little cross hatching in there, would you think there's anything else special about this? It just looks like a 3D print, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 3D. It just looks like a normal 3D print to me.
Everything on this thing glows. The entire thing glows.
Oh.
And the white glows blue and the purple glows green.
I feel like we gotta see this in action.
Oh
'Cause
god.
you're gonna hold it up to the light, right?
Yeah, like I don't
Like,
even
hold it
know
up to your ring light.
I don't know how to. Okay.
As if
There's
you could
so
be like,
much light.
Google, you're like, Google, turn off all lights, and everything will go off.
Do you know how much it takes to get into this thing? Let's see here.
Yeah, Adam's gonna be here turning off lights for 40 minutes.
Oh, you can't even. It's gonna be hard to see.
Because you gotta hold it up to the light, right? It's like your glasses are glowing more than the
There's
coin.
no glow with my glasses. That's the hilarious part
Yeah.
of this. So it's just it's reacting to the light. Let me see if I can get this all squared away. I'm holding it up to the light right now, so I'm dark on this side.
Because you gotta charge it. That's the whole thing. So this not a coin. I just googled see if these coin and they look different than that. So this must be like
Yeah, it's like an emblem, whatever. All right, let's see.
Oh, sure, for like a pirate guild or something.
Yeah, let's see if this works. No, it doesn't.
Nah.
It's because there's too much ambient light. But you know what? I do have a picture of it, so I could show that off really quick if you wanted to see. So, anyways, as we've been designing this, you can see some words that I put up on the screen. Let me grab this picture.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Pirate Legend insignia, Sea of Thieves, Destiny deposit.
It's called the Fortune one. So here,
Ooh, Athena's Fortune.
I'm gonna put it in front of your picture.
Okay.
You see it?
Oh yeah, this was you.
This is this exact one in a dark room. What it would look like. I thought that looked sweet.
Totally, that looks amazing. Imagine having like a whole bunch of them all sitting there. It'd be like this glowing treasure chest.
So here's the challenge. Here's what I am trying to accomplish tonight, and what we're going to do a little bit of is, as I've been 3D printing over time, what I do is I set the settings and I chuck it into the 3D printer and you print it.
Yeah.
What I need to have happen is, if you see on the back here, and you can kind of see it in the light, it says FOL.
Oh, FOL. Yeah.
What I need to have happen is it doesn't, like when you pull it off the bed, some of the pieces stick to the bed because of how it does that. So what I've decided or figured out is I need it to run a specific type of process on the first two layers. Then I need it to switch up and do a different process for this like middle layers. Then I need it to switch up and do a different process for the top. So like
what do you
split
mean?
it.
What do you mean by process?
So right now, let's just say I threw this on the 3D printer. What would happen was I would say it's going to go at this temperature and this amount of infill. So let's say it's 25% infill for the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Well, what if I wanted to do and then there's other things like, it's called shell layers. So it will do like 3 layers of shell, and then it does the infill portion of it. And in certain layers though, you you may not want that to happen. And as you do a lot of 3D printing, you'll figure out reasons as to why or why not you would want to have different things. And so one of the things I'm trying to solve is see these like different cross hatches you can see through these little areas right here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want that. I want it to be like
You don't want that.
solid.
Yeah.
But I
You just have
also,
to be thicker, right? It just has to be
well, and
thicker.
that's where you need to like have different things happen at different layers. And so
Mm.
typically once you set it up and you run it through the process, it has to do the same thing for every layer that you put into the system. Well, with this Simplify 3D, let's go ahead and just jump into it. Hold on.
No, hey, you're smart. Or is this or
This is
we're
it.
in this segment?
We're
Okay.
we're in the segment
Okay.
here. Let me see if I can get in. Oh, we are not playing games yet. Let me get back to this
Yeah.
side of it. Okay, so this is Simplify 3D, and what this does is it allows me to set up basically the settings. And so I'm gonna just make us a little bit smaller so you can kind of see what the heck we're talking about here. If I go over here, there's some settings on this left-hand side, and it's called PETG. That's the kind of filament I'm using. And typically, I'd go to this Edit Process Settings, and there's a copious amount of settings in here. You have
Yeah.
all these things you do per layer, infill. But for instance, if I go to Infill, you'll see that like there's this infill percentage that I have set at 100%. Well, maybe I don't want it to be 100% for the whole thing. I just want it for the white part. And then I want some other things to happen. Let me go to you an example. Additions. Let's see here. Maybe it is infill. There's infill layers. There's line overlap, maximum infill length. So all these little like pieces and parts that you might create as you're going through your 3D print. What I want to do is, and this is the one, top, it's called top solid layers, bottom solid layers. What I need it to do is like change its kind of thought process as you hit different layer sets. So what I'm going to hopefully do right now is just play with it for a second, because I was doing it right before the show and I was like, this will be fun for the show. I may not even throw this into the 3D printer right yet, but just wanted to like see if this worked. And what I found was over in this tools section, they have this thing called the variable settings wizard. And so when I click on it, what it does is, and I'm going to just pull this off to the side. You won't even need to see that. You see that red kind of line? It's like a plane.
Oh,
And what
yeah.
it's doing, it's just like, I think it's going exactly to the halfway point. Well, I have this little tool that I can say, hey, that plane should like start here or right here. And so what it's going to do is say, pick where you want the plane to switch to another kind of set of parameters that you might want to like kick off. And
Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
what I want it to do is on that very first layer, and I actually measured this before, it's like 0.64 millimeters. And I'll go.
You measured 0.64 millimeters?
Well, I measure here. I'll show you how I did that. So if I go in and I prepared this for print over here, and you might not be able. Well, you can see it in the very bottom of this thing right here. You can see some Z, and it has
I see.
1.64.
And those are the layers, the different colors.
Yeah, and it's basically measuring in millimeters. And so there's that first layer. There's the second layer, which is 0.440. And then if I go to the third layer, it's 0.640. So I'm like, at 0.460, I want it to change and do something different than it was doing in the prior layers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this variable tool to jump in there, and I can just plug in 0.640. Not 54, 64. And then I hit add. So it says, okay, we put a plane there. We're going to do something different at that layer for you. So that's the first one. Then the second one I wanted to do at is go up to like right when it starts to print in that glowy part. And if you remember from the picture, it was like glowy blue for the skull part. So I'm going to add another one at 0.75 millimeters. So I add that. So now I have two separate planes in there, and you can kind of see it if I move that. So, well, let's see here. First one, that first two layers. Then it does something for the second part, and then a third. So essentially, I'm able to like now say, hey, on the first one, do all this. On the second one, do this. And on the third one, do this. And if I hit OK.
Now, so one question I have.
Yeah.
Does it stop, go over to the corner,
Nah.
reset itself, or does it just like dynamically in the moment, next layer, boom, now
Yeah.
I'm doing a different
As
thing?
it hits that millimeter height, it will change over to this new stuff.
That's good. Is it called of Legends?
Festival
FO
or Fest of Legends. Yeah, right. I think so.
Fest of Legends.
So what I believe it's just done, it just cut it into my processes on the side. It's like zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3. And so what I'm able to now do is say, okay, in zone 1, when we print this, which should be that first layer, yeah, those first couple layers, I can go in there and I can edit my process settings. And one of the first ones I know I want to change was if I go over here to solid layers, and it says the number of solid layers to create at the bottom of the part. And so it says bottoms,
Okay.
and then there's outline perimeters. So let me count on this because I'm pretty sure that's the one. So it's the perimeters is the one I want to actually change. And so what it's saying is, and let me just switch over to this camera of us here. There it is, Fest of Legends. So check that out if you want to go. If you go to this, it basically outlines this F 4 times. So there's 4 outlines.
And then goes back to like hatching or something.
Yeah, well, and all I want it to do is just do like one time around. All I needed is one time, because every time it goes around, it makes it way more delicate to like yank off the bed, and these layers get yanked out, and it's not as cool. So what I'm going to say is on the very first one, you're going to...
Is it going to show up? Is it going to show up if it's only one?
Hell yeah, it is. Like the
like
whole...
you're going to be able to look at it?
Everything inside there will, and this is what we're going to test right now. So we're going to say 1 perimeter layers for that portion of it. And then the infill, we'll just leave that at 100%. We're going to go to zone 2 now. And then I do want to go back to some multiple perimeters. And so I'm going to go back into here. And the reason, and let's see if it should keep it. Yeah, so it keeps it the 4 outline because it's inside of the part. You won't even see it now, but it'll help with some of the like the strength of the part.
Yeah.
And at this point, though, the infill...
Yeah, you should share your screen, though, because I think it's just us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That was helpful to have you. You're like, I can't see crap. So, all right. So what I did is I went back into the layer 2. You can see this zone 2, and I don't want the infill to be as much. I don't need 100% at this point. So I'm going to go back down to like the 25% infill, because the purple, you really can't see through the purple. So having a little cross hatching and stuff in there should not be a problem. And actually, what I also want to do is instead of it being cross hatched inside, there's different kind of patterns that you can do inside of it. So I want to use wiggle, and you'll see in a second what this does to it. So we'll hit OK on zone 3 or zone 2, and then zone 3, it's the whole top part, the part that's going to be glowy. Yeah. And I'm going to change that one to infill 100%. It's perfect. So right now, if I hit prepare to print, I'm going to say...
If it's 100%, did it say what texture it was on the top?
I see what you're saying. Like how many perimeters? Yeah, that's a good call, Ryan. You know what? Let's go and change that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but...
Yeah, well, just like what, because, what's the texture?
Well, there is a texture, and it's just like going back and forth. So that there's no infill, so to speak, for that, because once it's solid, it's just solid. But the way that it draws the line, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. We're just going to go back and forth. That's going to be...
But if it's solid, it's solid, right? Wouldn't it not matter if there was 10 perimeters or 1 perimeter, right?
It does, only because of how it would look. It's a little harder to see on this portion right here. But if you put in the perimeters, what it does is it'll do like 4 times around. Maybe I go back to it. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can like have it focus in. It'd be better if I could do that. So see those like those lines that are on the outside of it? Those are the perimeter lines.
I feel like that kind of looks cool. Like, you're trying to get rid of the texture of those like diamond pattern.
The diamond pattern is if I do infill 100%, that fixes that. The pattern that goes around the shape. See how it outlines it like 4 times? What if that was 1 time?
Yeah.
And then inside of the shape, it does all that like little, you know,
I feel like that would
printing.
look better.
So then if I hit OK right now, I should have put all those settings in. I'm going to do a print, and I'm going to say, hey, run all 3 zones on this print, and I'm going to see if this works. So
we're just watching you, though, again.
Yeah, I'm going to get it back over to that. So here we go. No, you're good. That's helpful. So you could already see it. See how it's 1 perimeter right here? So if I go through this part, those layers are solid. And then it gets into the middle layers, which it's like a little wiggly.
Wiggle? Is that wiggle?
That's wiggle.
Why would you want it to be wiggle? Or like, does that?
And there's one perimeter on that's so sweet. I don't think
Great.
you really knows how cool that is. Um, why would I want it to be wiggle? Because if you held this up to the light, you could kind of see the patterns inside there. So if you happen to see it,
Mm,
like the wiggle might look cooler than like
yeah.
cross hatching or something like that.
Right. I can see that.
This one's cross hatching though on that layer right here because it looks
And
like
it's yeah.
because what it looks like's happening is like it goes up one layer where it's still
Is that because the layer above it is so filled 100% that it's like I have to have some kind of scaffolding to be on top of?
parameters. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey.
Yeah,
That's a classic. I was
that's a
actually using the correct term
uh,
this time
yeah,
here.
I know, right? Every time. Every time.
All right, we got Kylia in there as well.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, what's up? We are trying to like adjust the print for you to get it all squared away so it looks really good. I don't know if you saw some of this. So, man, perimeters, parameters. I'm actually batting pretty decent tonight on that. I gotta say. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you were good. I didn't even remember that until
some
Joel called
classic.
it out. Nice.
Okay, so what I think I'll
No
have to
problem. It's a
do
hangout.
is yeah, heck yeah. What we're gonna do is see, I can see what's happening. Basically, it's gonna still be printing that wiggle pattern up to this point. So I'm gonna probably do some fine tuning. But what we just did here was the proof of concept. 100% works.
Yeah.
Like so I'm gonna tune it in a little bit later, and we're gonna print this
And
off.
because you also have to then change the colors at some point too,
That
right?
part, there's a lot that goes into this. I have to manually change the colors, and so what's interesting is let's see. And I don't think it's gonna. Let me see what the time frame on doing it with multiples is. So it's an hour and 35 minutes. And so how I would know how to change it and when to change it is I'll go down to like when I see okay, there's a background that's purple, and then that layer that tells me that it goes up and it's starting to do the outside. And when I know that it's on this layer over here, it tells me, and it's under Ryan. You can't really see it, but I'll move the screen somehow. Um, under on this lower right hand corner, it tells you what layer you're on. This gets a little complicated because on layer 8 is when I know I should do the switch of the colors. I want purple for those layers, and then on layer 8, it should start to be the glowy blue one. And so what I do is, what percentage of this line is it through the print? Would you say that's a little bit over half? So maybe like 55% through the print?
Yeah.
Well, you can't see it because it's under you again. But if you look at this blue line here, I'm just doing an approximate. That's about halfway done. So then I say, well, halfway through the print, if the print is an hour and 35 minutes, you pick halfway through that time frame. So, 30, 40-ish, 50, around the 50-minute mark, I should be going and looking at the printer and seeing if it's ready for the change. Then I manually go to the printer and crank down the speed, and then I yank it out really quick and I shove the other one in there. There's much more programmatic ways to make that happen, but I found that to be the most like efficient and easiest, and then the layers just happen because when it stops and goes off to the side and it cools down, and then if you like heat it up and go back to the print, sometimes the layers shift. It doesn't look that
Yeah.
perfect. So if I do it in real time, and I've like got that down to a science now. If I had to do
Can
that
we
with everything.
can you do more than one? You doing more than one
So
for on
that's a
the
great
bed?
question. So let's see what this would cost us in total. So if I took this model and that bed looks like it would be able to hold 9 of them. So if I were going to go to 8 copies and then I were to do, let's say, center and range. Okay, so you can get 9 on there. And so
That's nice that it does it for you like that.
yeah, it's really helpful. It has like a couple ways to do massive prints. So how if it was a 14 hours per 9.
Okay.
So 14 hours and 18 minutes. So okay, let's calculate how long into this because I'm not going to be sitting here watching this thing for 14 hours
Yeah,
straight.
like 8.5 hours.
Yeah, so
So you'd be like, let it go. Would you be confident enough to just let it go throughout the night and sleep your 8 hours,
hell
come
yeah, I
in and
would.
yank it out?
But
Yeah.
that's the other part of it is you have to calculate when that 8 hours is going to hit, because I've done that before when I was like, I started a print and then I calculated and I'm like, that is 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like,
Right.
damn
Yeah,
it.
no,
So
you
you
gotta
start
you
the
gotta start
alarm.
it at midnight or whatever and do it at 8 a.m.
Heck yeah. So, any case, I think it's just like it's a little peek into the world of what it takes to make this happen. I think this is number 4 of the prototypes so far. I met with Kylie
Nice.
last night to give her some of the prototypes.
Ah,
So
cool.
I don't know if you
Ha-
like this one.
is glow in the dark what is that? Pet G?
There's
Pet G we talking?
I like the questions, Ryan. There's multiple types. So yeah, yeah, it was like a drug deal for sure. It was like here's 30
People were
prints.
shaded out. Yeah. They're like, hey, I got something in my trunk.
Yeah, we were just like straight nerding out in the parking lot of Olive Garden. It was awesome. So
Where all the best handoffs go down.
hell yeah. And you're like,
True mafia style.
anyways, I just wanted to go through that. I think that's like it's cool. So
Totally.
Kylia, we just need your heads up. Like, are you liking? You probably want the prototype in hand to be able to play with it. So I'm trying to
That's
now
true.
tune in the prototype. So I'm very intentional about quality, and Ryan knows this. I'm kind of like always into hey, let me
What?
get
No.
this perfect. My law of diminishing returns is very off scope. I will spend a copious amount of time on things that probably no one will ever notice. So
Nice.
yeah, it does. Oh, and the other thing you can't kind of see in here is maybe you did when we were on the front cam. Let me see if I can get that again.
I think there's too much light still. Oh no.
You can kind of see some glitter in there.
Yeah.
It actually has glitter.
It
So
feels like the perfect thing, the perfect type of filament for this.
it is. And so Kylia, we're trying to get the cross hatching to go away. That's actually my current thing because I want it to look good for all your peeps. So
Yeah.
all right, Ryan, what do we want to touch base on next? Are we ready for some Drawful? I feel like Drawful would be
Sure.
really fun right now.
You wanna do drawful? I'd be down for that.
Hell yeah. They're gonna be blown away. Hopefully, I'm really hoping I can like
Nice.
land this plane for you. It's a lot of like logistics to get it going. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. I was thinking I might put a little double drop down, produced on the show of Double Drop Down. Watch the
See, there you
of
go.
video today. See, you're checking it out for right now. Just kidding. All right, let's go and take a look at our Drawful. So get your phones out, y'all. And we are going to jump into some game time here on Double Drop Down. So we want to do Drawful? Is that the game that we're playing tonight?
What did we play last time?
I think we played Drawful last time, or we could play
played
it.
Drawful last time.
Let's do Drawful. Drawful 2.
Sure.
We got to theme it though. Which one are we gonna do?
No, because you can only theme.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can only theme
you
the other
can't.
ones because this one gives you what you gotta do.
All right, we ready for this?
Network Air.
For you?
No, that's what you said on the screen.
Oh, it's because it's the Xbox Series X, so it just always
Oh, I see.
All right, if we're gonna play, go to Jackbox.
Nope. Oh, it is. I didn't even realize it was a Jackbox. Is Jackbox the only one who makes games like this anymore?
I don't know. It's one of the only standalone Jackbox TV games. I need to like.
I'll let you get in there first so you can.
Whoever gets in there first is fine.
I did, yeah. Those
I did.
I wasn't all that. It didn't seem that crazy to me. It seemed a lot of times we have a mid cycle something. There's always an Xbox and then an Xbox or a PlayStation Pro comes out. Halfway through the life cycle of the console. And this one didn't seem. I don't know. Maybe there were other things that I could have that I didn't hear about that I could be excited about, but I didn't really see too much.
There's some cool games out there. New Gear's coming out.
Yeah, that was fun. I will totally play that.
Yeah. Aw, it's like a little pickle.
Yeah.
All right, I think Kylia might be playing with us. I'll give her just a second. Log in. I'm not sure.
Mike Azul's still drawing himself too.
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, and who said the Xbox guy was quoted as being like, Xbox definitely needs a mobile thing. You know,
I was hoping for it.
We are thinking about that. You know, and I was like, all right, that makes sense. I feel like that's been a rumor for forever, right? Like since the Switch, everybody's like, oh, they're making a mobile thing. I mean, PlayStation had the PSP, which was fun.
Anybody else jumping into the game? Kylia,
okay, well,
are you in?
Everybody else can do. They can do the room. They can play as the room, right?
I know. I just want to make sure. Give everyone just one more minute here. Here we go. I'm gonna do a countdown. 5.
My guy looks like a slug maybe, or a poop.
He looks like a poop or a pickle. He reminds me of like a pickle or a cucumber. A very happy.
He's got
one.
like the little tail, coming off the back end.
Yeah, I think that's what changes it. All right.
That was by accident.
Yeah, you can't really do that. Everyone's in. Here we go.
2, 1.
Salutations and welcome to Drawful. You know what 5 players is great for? A 2-round game. I'm gonna get this thing started. Okay, I've sent a prompt to each of your devices. Something kinda hard to draw.
Oh my God.
Like
Yeah.
Thursday
Yeah.
or
Sweet Jesus.
trash can at Arby's. Draw a picture on your device that would have that title, and when you're done, hit send. You'll get points for each player that can correctly guess your title. So, get to it.
God, and you can't erase. It kills me.
I love that. Sharpieville. You have to be strategic.
How am I gonna draw this? Hello.
Heck yeah.
Seconds left, y'all. Come on, I know what you're drawing isn't that good or important. Let's
Ding,
go.
ding, ding,
No, she's right.
ding, 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 ding,
It's not all about the art, Ryan.
ding.
Oh my God. It definitely isn't on this turn.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, Becky, you got this.
Warning.
Oh, good. All of you got your
Nice.
drawings in on time. Let's see the first one.
Oh my God.
Use your devices to type in what you think the real title for this picture could have been.
I can hear like no music coming. Can everybody else hear the music? I guess maybe because I'm hearing it through Zoom.
Come on, typing time is almost.
Yep.
Hey, there we
And
go.
here are your choices. One of them is the real title.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Choose something. Let's see what people picked.
Ding.
Good one.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Ah.
Ding. Ding.
Nice. Got her.
Oh,
This has got to be it, right?
Oh.
Yes.
good job.
Too many.
Dang.
Ding.
That was great. That was hard.
That's yeah. You know, I like the idea of using the pie symbol.
Up next, type in a convincing title now.
35. 30. 25. 20.
I almost like not being able to hear it because this one is all like the poops and farts sound effects, isn't it?
I think it is. Surprised you can't hear
Type
it.
in anything.
I can hear the voices. I can hear the voices.
5. Oh.
Okay, here are your choices.
Oh. 25.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not confident about my choice.
This isn't good. This is hard.
Yeah.
15.
I think they made it hard because there's 5 of us in here.
Yeah.
Select an answer. Come on. And here are your picks.
Boom.
Not it. Ding. Ding.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. Those are too pointy wings to be angels.
Oh no.
Ah, good one.
Ding.
All
Ding.
right.
Oh, I got screwed. I thought it was so good. The hands. He's singing an opera. Oh, I got screwed.
You needed to put a mask over the top of his face.
Oh, that would have been a good idea. Like Phantom, right?
Yeah. Well, people would have said Phantom of the Opera probably, but
Let's take a look at our next drawing.
oh my goodness.
35. 30. 25. 20. Oh.
Here are your choices.
25. Oh. 20. 15.
Pick something.
5.
And here are your picks.
These were tough drawings.
Yeah, those. Oh crap!
Mwahaha.
Damn you!
Ding. Ding. Ding.
I should have known. You spent so much time.
Sorry.
Nice.
Ding.
Oh yes.
I ate an alarm clock. Nice.
Ding.
I'm crushing y'all.
Yeah, I know. Oh god.
Okay.
Oh
Drawing.
Jesus.
35. 30. 25. 20. Oh. 15.
I'm excited to see people's
Hurry up, people. Just type something in.
5.
You also can't change your thing. Once you've submitted,
And
that's
here
it.
are your choices.
Hello!
Oh. 20.
I feel like the person who put the makeup,
15.
if that ends up being the actual
Oh, just pick
thing,
one.
then somebody drew a very deceptive drawing.
5.
It could be though.
I get, because is that like lipstick?
And here are your picks.
Hello!
I don't even know. Heck yeah!
What?
You don't know what Brazier's are?
No, I do, but like, man. Oh, actual pineapple. Right. Okay.
Nice.
Touching.
That was good.
3.
Oh yeah.
Okay, getting closer.
Uh-oh.
Up next,
35.
Hello!
30. 25. 20. Oh. 15.
I have a feeling this one might be hard.
This, yeah, I had a hard time with this one.
type. Here are your choices.
Oh. 20.
Hello!
15.
Pick anything.
5.
Okay, who picked what?
No.
Nice.
It's clearly a couch. I'm seeing couches.
Hello!
Wrong.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh. It's gotta be pizza roll, isn't it?
It's like, how do you draw a pizza roll stuck in a couch?
It's because, you know, I thought of it right when I saw the little pieces of it after. I was like, oh, it's gotta be that one. Good
It's
job.
like, I can't get enough detail. And then like
Your
stuck
next
in a
round of
couch
drawing
even?
prompts are ready to go.
All right.
Hello!
Oh.
Uh-oh. Only 30 seconds left to finish your drawing. Maybe you should just hit send now so you don't take too long and miss your chance.
Ding. 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 Ding.
Let's take a peek at your drawings. And now, this one.
Very provocative, Ryan.
You know.
I can tell because you have the like squiggly lines.
Yeah. Oh, is that? Can you tell? That's how you can tell?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean,
think you should
from
be
your
able to
style.
tell.
From your style.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as opposed to the squiggly lines in the background. I thought you were
Oh.
talking about.
Come on, typing time is almost up.
Hello.
And here are your choices.
Oh.
Dino slut.
Hello.
Maybe it's Dino Slut, Adam. You don't know.
I don't
Good
know.
answer.
I feel like Heather put that one in there.
Way to ruin it. Way to ruin the game for everyone.
Hey, I'm just making guesses here. This is a hangout,
And here are
Ryan.
your picks.
You're like, if we were just hanging out. I called it.
I know my wife.
Hello.
Oh.
Ah.
No one got it. Did anyone get it? Oh, yeah.
Two
okay.
people drooling model.
You know, because I was
What
like,
was the?
like she's thinking of a cupcake or something, right? And so she's drooling, and I was like, I gotta make her skinny enough so that people know model.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That was my thinking.
Next up, hey, I'm serious. Time is up.
Oh.
Okay, here are your choices.
Oh.
And here are your picks.
You fools!
Oh God! Right, you just gave him the win with that. He definitely looks like a leper.
Right?
Oh.
But I was like, there would be cannibal stuff. There would be like arms sticking out.
It's. Ryan, thank you.
Nice.
Oh my God, 1,200. I think that's a record. I think you have a record right now, Ryan.
This is amazing.
Type in a title now.
Hello.
Hurry up, people. Just type something. And here are your choices.
These are all good. Good job, everyone.
Hello.
Let's see what people
Yeah, see,
picked.
we have two in the audience, which is fun.
Hello.
No.
The audience keeps picking mine. I love it.
Good. Yeah.
Oh.
Good job.
That was good.
That's me.
That's me. Yeah, I'm getting caught up on.
And now, another drawing.
Hello.
Oh.
Here are your choices.
Janitor's girlfriend. I like that one.
Oh.
Janitor's girlfriend sounds like a band. I don't know where to start.
Pick anything.
Hello.
And here are your picks.
Oh.
Nice.
Hello.
Straightforward.
Has money in his hand.
Yeah. No. Yes. Door-to-door rake salesman. That's a tough one.
Mike Azul, getting close.
Coming up.
And now, this drawing.
Hello.
Oh.
Come on, typing time is almost up.
I feel like we've been playing this enough with this community that I feel like I definitely know who's drawing one.
I'm starting to see that. Yeah.
And here are your choices.
Hello.
Oh.
And here are your picks.
I like object permanence
Hello.
as father time. Couldn't be father time.
Oh.
Mouthful of marbles.
Somebody thought it was Father Time. Reminded me of that. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Good job, everyone. That was a great one. There was some good drawing.
There's some good ones there. Hey, man. Way above everyone.
Oh, nice. Good job, everyone. That was hella fun.
Yeah. Those
Well,
are fun.
Those are great. I'm glad that we've added that to the show, and it is fun to hang out with y'all. I think we're gonna continue adding these. The thing I wish is there was a bazillion more. There's the naughty one coming out. If you haven't heard about it, from Jackbox. Jackbox
like
has
a-
given a whole adult themed version of that, and I'm like, should
Wow.
we play that? I don't know if what people want to see into that side of the world of what our community could come up with.
I feel like you just put a warning at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
And
we're gonna
and
have
the
to put
children-
mature audiences
content
for the
warning.
next pieces.
See, so the one that I want to play, and you should, if this one ever goes on sale or something, or I could pitch in because I want to buy this one and play this one too. Is the one where you come up with your own raps. And they
Ooh.
have it where like they give you a starter, they give you like a starter thing, and then you come up with the rhyme that ends the rap, like the multiple verses like of the rap, and then it raps it in like a robot voice. And everybody
Sweet.
like and
I
you
want that one.
battle each other. It's rap battles. So you battle
Oh my
another
God,
person.
I want
and
it.
you both, and it's like you dissing each other. through the thing. That's the
There's
whole point of
Drawful
it.
3 After Dark, so it's a Drawful one.
Oh, it's even drawful.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
I mean, next time.
Yo,
Right?
welcome to the
Yeah,
Hangout.
I feel like this group would be, do some clever raps.
Heck
Right?
yeah,
I
with like
wanna see
AI
it.
nowadays and like the way that you could like have it do things for you, that'd be good. I think it could work.
Hey, I wanted to rap like, freaking LL Cool J
Oh
or
my
something.
God,
I
I
should
feel.
just be able to like put in my thing and be like, what rapper do I want it to sound like?
Ha-
Yeah, make it sound like Biggie.
Wait, let's do this. We're gonna try a rap right now on Chat GPT.
They have it right, a rap.
Let's see here.
I feel like it's gonna do poorly. If I had to
Okay,
guess.
I need you to do your best impression of an Eminem rap about two guys that are streaming on Twitch, having a good time on a show called The Hangout with Adam and Ryan.
Yeah. It has to think about that. It's like cool and those things aren't cool.
All right, here we go. Yo, it's Adam and Ryan on Twitch. They be flying. On the Hangout show, they got the crowd supplying, laughter and vibes, man. You know they got it flowing. From gaming to chat, their energy's always growing. Adam's got the skills. Man, he's quick with the jokes. Ryan's got the charm. Yo, he's reeling in the folks. Together they're a
Totally.
duo. Can't nobody deny. In the Twitch game, they reaching for the sky. Yo, it's all about the fun. Ain't no room for the hate. Adam and Ryan on the screen, man, they captivate. From sunrise to sunset, they keeping it real. When they hit the live button, you know you're gonna feel the love, the hype, the chat's going wild. Every follower tuned in, feeling like a child. With excitement and joy.
How is
they
this like a
build
whole rap?
community. The Hangout with the boys, it's pure unity. So hit that follow, drop a sub, you know what to do. Adam and Ryan in the house, they bringing it through. With the passion, the laughs, man. You know it's legit. Twitch streams on fire. Yeah, they too lit.
Man.
I don't even know
Pretty
what to
good.
say. Good job, ChatGPT.
Good job, I guess. I mean, it's a simplistic rhyming scheme, but
I said like Eminem.
right? That's true. That's true.
Oh
That's
man,
pretty good.
that was a
Pretty
good
I
one.
don't know how Eminem it felt necessarily, but
Yeah, it's better with a beat. We need to get some
Right.
beats on that.
yeah, that's true.
wonder if it could
That's
be-
true. It's hard for her to be rapping a cappella. Man.
No, that was great.
Did you see Stable Diffusion release their latest stable audio
Oh, I hadn't.
where it will do like 47-second songs or something like that at this point from just a text prompt. Stable Diffusion is having a tough time as a business, but this is one of their big like trying to get out there and do something different
Well,
that nobody else is doing.
I think this is a
listening to
great
music.
transition to talk about AI right now. Stable Diffusion, to your point, sorry to cut you off there, was they
Yeah,
just
no,
put
no.
out version 3 of their
Yeah.
thing. And what happened was they're trying to curb people making nudity, which I guess it makes a lot of sense. People making a lot of crazy stuff. But what ended up happening is it's messed up all their like people generation on AI. And so people are like, what is this, a joke? And so it messed up their stuff because they
Did
took
you
it out
see
of
some of the images? Did you see some of the images that came out of that? Of like, it'd be like a guy and a girl, boyfriend and girlfriend, hanging out at the pool, and like the guy looks normal, and the girl has like a girl face and then a guy body.
Oh,
because
God.
they wouldn't put her in a swimsuit.
It seems like
that was
that's the
pretty
thing. All right, so you said did you have a video that we should watch? Are we watching a video here?
Yeah, well, so one of the things that came out, which I thought was kind of interesting. I want to keep up with like where video AI generation is at, and some of them that we've looked at, like Sora is coming out at some point from OpenAI, and but there's one called Kling AI, which is coming out of
Oh, I gotta turn
China.
this off.
So I was like, oh man, you can download their app from some Chinese,
I was gonna
like,
say, Ryan, what are you getting me on
off-boot,
this?
Like, yeah, exactly. So it's I haven't been able to try it, but I just thought like we should look at some of these, play a couple of these little videos and sort of see.
So this is AI.
Yeah, these are all AI, and it's supposed to, be, and yeah, they can always hand pick some of like the best ones, right? But I thought, hey, like those look pretty good. Like, I mean, they're simple stuff, but for it just doing this from a text prompt, I feel like it's getting better and
Oh,
better.
this one's looking good.
Yeah, yeah,
He's jamming. That's like Kung Fu Panda right there.
yeah, right. That's the newest live remake from Disney.
I have no
You know,
idea how to do Chinese, or Japanese. I suspect that's Chinese.
yeah, I think it's a Chinese.
You
It's a
can kind of
Chinese
like tell
company.
it in here. Not that I'm like we have to micro. Oh, there's one little thing that changes a little bit.
Yeah, like the eye, like stuff moves around
But
a
we used to
little
be
too
like,
much.
haha, Will Smith eating spaghetti. Now it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's come quite a ways from Will Smith eating spaghetti.
I could see it for a lot of B footage at this point. Like if you had to do a
Totally.
cutaway and,
Well,
show
and
the exterior.
some of the stuff is way better than other things, right? So, the flower opening up or whatever, I could absolutely this fish, like I feel like all of that seems like perfectly good. Yeah, I don't know. It,
I
it
mean, it's
still feels a
okay.
little janky. It has like smoke at the bottom where there is no horse
Yeah, the legs kind of mess up a
at the
bit.
front.
Wait, we check this one
Oh,
out.
yeah, okay. They had to do this one so that they could get past the thing of that spaghetti eating.
That's pretty
Anyway,
dang
we
good.
I was just like, hey, these are pretty good.
Heck
You
yeah, they
know?
are. Ooh, I like this one. Let's see here.
And they probably had to generate like 5,000 of these to find the great ones. That's what I always find out with these. But even the ones that they're showing off are way better than the ones that were getting showed off on websites 6 months ago.
Heck yeah. Well,
Right?
it's amazing to see where we're headed with this.
Yeah.
I think that's a great one. Well, so that's the AI thing. We talked about Apple Intelligence just a little bit ago. So Apple came out with a new thing. So what do you know about Apple Intelligence? Hilariously, Apple Intelligence means AI. I love how they like try to like be like,
I,
"Oh, I'm going to
I
go
didn't
and
even think of that. I
steal
didn't
all
even think
that."
of that.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, Apple had their big, conference over the last couple weeks, last week, I think. And maybe it was even this week.
It
Anyway,
was this week.
I hadn't followed it all that closely, but I did hear about Apple Intelligence, which is basically just they partnered with OpenAI to add a bunch of stuff into it. The two things that I thought, oh, okay, here's Noodles. All right, that looks a lot better.
Very noodly. Well,
Very
they
noodly.
had their conference. I did not watch all the crazy stuff they were putting out, but I do know that they did partner with OpenAI. Did you hear
Yeah.
the agreement though? And like, first of all, Musk got mad and he said no one in Tesla is going to be able to bring an iPhone in here, or we're never going to buy Apple
Re-
again.
or the no iPhones are allowed to use Twitter. Like, could
Hmm.
you I like talk about tanking his own business? He can't even take that seriously.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But the agreement is there's no payment exchange yet between the two.
What?
It's just so
Really?
that they could use each other's stuff at this moment. I just
Oh,
read about it,
well,
so
okay. So I was talking to someone at my work today, and they are very plugged into that entire scene. And they were saying that one of the big things that is coming out of this is that OpenAI is going to get the hell suit out of them for using Google YouTube video like transcripts, right? Like they sort of got caught
mm,
using that. And Google is like, you can't use that. Like, you can't use that to train your stuff. Take all that stuff out of there. And they were like, okay, so they'll probably get they'll probably have to take out all of that YouTube translation. Well, Gemini, Google's thing has all of that, right? Like they have all of their search and all of YouTube to train their models on,
yeah.
and they're gonna hold on really tightly to it. And that meant that like eventually its data is the king of all of this, right? Like you can make your models and you can do all your stuff and you can try to stay one step ahead of everyone else, but really it's going to be who has the data for it. And what it is say OpenAI is going to start losing out because there's no more data that they own or that they're not going to get sued for. But let's say they hooked into, you know, a every single iPhone that was ever made, and every single search that everyone does on an iPhone, and everything that everyone does on an iPhone, that could be a hell amount of data that you could use to like at least somewhat stay on par with something like a Google, right? Or a Facebook even, you know, that has tons of data. So I think that's their big play. Like they don't even care. They don't even care about the money, right? Like they just want to stay ahead of all of that stuff. And they want to be able to be like, we're just going to be behind after 6 months or a year if we can't use this Google stuff, and we're just going to lose that anyway. So we may as well partner with Apple and be like, just give us all that data that we can use, which I thought was an interesting take.
Which also is kind of a pain in the butt. You saw in the Discord, we talked about like Adobe trying to be like, hey, we're going to use what you do in your Photoshop or whatever art and train on it.
Everyone needs data. That is the thing.
I heard it's drying up. I heard that
all the good data is gone.
It's done.
Like every book has been scanned, right?
That's the new job. Data creators.
100% is going to be, because what's going to happen, like you say that jokingly, but 100% that's what it's going to be, right?
It's actually being serious.
Because and it's going to be people who are like doing different and creative and weird things that the you know that the algorithms aren't doing, at least for a while, until it all catches up, and like, you know, but for a while it's going to be like, hey, we need that data. We need people who are doing interesting and different things to like feed these algorithms, and that's what'll be monetized, I think.
So we should be hoarding the data from our businesses that are not public so we could start selling it on the black market in a few years.
Yeah, well, exactly. We just need to be recording this show with no audience and not streaming it out, and then being like, hey, we got this whole treasure trove.
You want some Hangout? Yeah, you know you want some Hangout.
Maybe OpenAI? You wanna pay for that?
So
anyway,
interestingly, moving on with our article. So Apple Intelligence, more to come. We'll figure out how this whole thing works out. An interesting story that I found that I thought I wanted to say is, so we talk about call centers and AI in those different areas. And so when we think about a call center, how would you think, Ryan, they would use AI?
I would think that they would take all of their employees, put them into a trash compactor, pack them down into waste units, and fill up the entire space with computers and use AI for everything.
So totally, I was like, I saw this article and it said, you know, using AI in the call center. I was like, oh, great. Here it is, another story about taking people's jobs.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, that's not what they're doing. What they've been doing is they're using it to make angry customers sound calm on the phone. So as somebody's yelling at you on the phone, it calms it out, because they're thinking the mental health of their workers and people that are like having all these issues. So what it's doing, it's allowing them to have a little bit of a.
Is it changing the wording?
They said
that they're using
it tones it down. So if somebody's like screaming at you, it'd be like, "Hey, I really want to get this new thing that's coming on," and
hey, screw you, motherfucker. Can I please have my password changed? I was hoping you could do that sometime this century, as opposed to it getting screamed into the phone at them. Because if it doesn't change the wording, then, you know, aren't you still getting the bad words?
You are, but they were saying the problem is that there was like, first of all, there's stress in customer interactions on the call operators that they're working with, and you need people to be able to understand it. So it kind of like emotional canceling, which opens a whole nother door of conversation here. But they were saying that like they got it tuned in so well that they had to crank up the anger just a little bit, because then they didn't know how to properly respond to hostile customers. So it was like, it is such an interesting perspective that they may be able to, you know, calm that out. But just think about this in the future. You might be talking to someone in the way they're hearing you, or the inflection and the ways that you talk, maybe all messed up because AI is going to be,
it's going to be all smoothed out, right? They'll figure out what the optimal level of customer service like tone is, and then whatever language you speak, or style that you speak in, or accent, or anything, it will just be grayed out into the middle ground of everything. And so then, I'll never have to deal with someone on customer service that doesn't sound appropriate to what I want.
But it's like them coming in. It's taking the customer, not the people going out.
Oh,
But
yeah, I guess that's true. But I would think they would do it both ways, right? Like, I can see that. I would just.
there was a Starbucks drive-through yesterday, and I legit thought the person on the other side was AI generated.
Funny. I love that because yeah, you're right. You can't tell. I work for a company that does leadership development with like an AI platform. Part of the platform utilizes AI, and because we sell it and market it like that, there's also like real life coaches on the platform, that write people and do things, and that's part of it. And you would not believe how many people are like dismissive of the people or just like straight up call out like, okay, thanks bot, like why don't you do something else.
Oh my
they're
God.
like, they're like, seriously, no, it's like I don't know what I have to do to tell you this, but like we are not, like, this is a human being talking to you.
we are 100% real right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because the AI is used in a different aspects of the platform as opposed to like the coaching back and forth, but people don't hear that, right? They go, oh, it's an AI platform. I'm sure the whole thing is just an AI chat bot.
Right.
Anyway. But, I have not heard that people will say like are mean to them. No one is being mean to the AI bot. It's more like just calling it out and then being like, oh, you're not? Oh, okay. I'll keep going with my questions.
Oh my God! It's like it's changing. It's just like so quick as to how much this is getting integrated in all the pieces. All right, this next one, I wouldn't say it's 100% AI, but I loved it because of its tech kind of thing. So the University of Cambridge, I don't know, parameters, my pronunciation, has developed what they call the third thumb. And part of the reason I liked it, there's like 3D printing capabilities, but this is just showing you, think about all the AI things that we're doing right now. Think about all the crazy things with the robotics that we've been seeing with Boston Dynamics. Yeah. This one I thought was interesting. We're going to watch a video on it right now because of what they've been doing with what they call the third thumb.
How old is this?
This 2 weeks ago. Came out 2 weeks ago.
So I feel like I've heard of this before.
And it is something. So it's a motor-controlled thumb that's 3D printed that you can then use your brain to control. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Let's see if I can get...
She's controlling it with her brain?
Yeah. And there's been some other things where they're using AI to like, and I'm not sure this one does this, but they use AI to look at certain...
also looks like a robot. Sorry.
But it's crazy. Like, think about 4 or 5 years from now when we're like, just, yeah, of course we have the third thumb that's going on. Yeah, it's Lucy and AI.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have like gigantic Doc Ock arm backpacks where I'm just like, okay, I got to do a bunch of yard work where I'm doing things and lifting up bags of mulch. Like get my Doc Ock backpack on and use this extra lifting power. That'll be cool.
But that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. We're like augmenting our brains, our bodies, and like you're gonna have all these different things that come in. So, anyways, I thought that was just a cool release because it has been something that they've been doing for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
who has 3 hands and also has 3 thumbs. Oh my God, he is great. I also think about they're doing it from a very awesome perspective right now of what you could do with a third thumb, and I also thought of the other things that you might be able to do with multiple thumbs as you start to go forward that could be not great.
It feels like
hey, Origami Live.
Nice. Oh man.
Okay.
You want to talk about a laptop?
Okay.
We should. Yeah. Do you want to do this one quick?
I will do this one quick. And the only reason that I wanted to bring this one up is, and first of all, just because Origami has joined us, I think everyone needs to give him a major congratulations. I'm proud of this guy. He got his thesis published about using The sounds, you got to give it the title in the chat, buddy. Thanks, Talon. Like he just finished a long thesis on being able to assess error rates based off of, that's right, 3D printing noises that are coming from 3D printers, and like intensely amazing. So congratulations, buddy. I mean, I've been reading through it. He couldn't talk about it until he got it finally published and through that. So it's pretty awesome. There it is. Acoustic failure detection via acoustic analysis and deep learning. Congratulations, Origami. It's we're proud of you, man. I know you put a lot of work in. You haven't been able to been in the stream because he's been writing this damn thing. And I'm not gonna like put it on the stream and potentially screw something over for you, but it is something that I think we're really proud of that you were able to do. So thank you. Oh wait, you put a couple.
You know, you can do that with thesis titles, right? They get a little lengthy. Forgiveness for adding two acoustics.
But if you're interested, we can reach out and we can take it out. It's all published. You can do whatever you need to do. Can you put a link in the chat for everyone? I know that the link you gave me, you have to log into a resource. So I don't know if there's one that's out there that you're able to provide, but just wanted to make sure we call it out because we're proud of the people that are doers and makers, and they are looking at these things that change our world. So I love it.
And especially 3D printing cool stuff.
Hell yeah. It's awesome. All right, so talking about 3D printing, the reason we're going to talk about a laptop, Brian, and I agree with you. It's stupid to talk about laptop. I've been in the business. I've been like, I kind of want to get a laptop at some point in the future. What's out there? I thought it was really cool. I'm going to go to this the screen here and talk about this thing called the Framework laptop. And why I felt it like it was like a cool thing is it is. First of all, I saw this article about it, and they're like, hey, we released all our open source 3D CAD files, so you can go ahead and print out all the things that you want to on your laptop yourself. Create your own custom accessories. So what is awesome about it is the Framework laptop is kind of a modular build-it-yourself laptop. So you can see it right here. And what it does is you're putting all the pieces and parts together, and you can reconfigure it as you want. So you can take out batteries, you can put in the different ports you want on it. And apparently it's this huge thing. There's a couple versions out, and everyone's all like hot about this. So what I love about it is just the idea that you can not only build your own laptop, but you could build all the parts for it and make it all custom. I thought that was really cool for the show.
I was wondering when I looked at this.
The link did get moderated. Shoot, can you send it to me as in the Discord, and then we'll get it there, or we can get one of our mods to maybe.
I was trying to see how I do that. I am in the mod part of this, but it wasn't like it came up and I could reject it, which is weird.
Yeah, no, it rejects most things, because we had a little scourge of spam coming in. Are you in the Discord? I don't know if you are, but if you are, you can do that, or send me a text message and we'll get it into the chat for sure.
Okay, here's the question I have about the Framework laptop.
Yep.
Neat, right? Neat that you can go in and just sort of plug these things in. What other things would you want? I mean, when I look at these pictures, it feels like everyone just has the same stuff in the same place. Like, what else am I putting there? Am I putting a trackball in there? Am I putting a joystick on the right-hand side,
Ryan,
as opposed to a key?
You don't get it.
As opposed to a number key?
You could put your trackpad on the left or the right.
Oh, man. Or the right or the center.
Oh man, the center, and there's some placement.
You're like, no. Center comes in V2 2026.
I think what they're trying to put in here is, number one, most laptops come all like glued together, and you can't do crap for it. Yeah. This is completely modular. You can fix, you can upgrade, you can do all the different aspects of it. You can build your own casings because they give all the CAD files out. It's ripe to repair. You're able to do your own work on it. So I think just leaning into the idea that we're not creating all this waste, this electronic waste, by saying, oh, this thing is 2 years old and now obsolete, but you have some opportunity to do that. So I just appreciate companies that are going into that kind of market.
And I like that idea because it feels like that's one of the reasons that I end up buying desktops for all of my computers as opposed to laptops, because basically I just assume that I'm going to be throwing a laptop away in 3 years or 4 years. And desktop, I can be like, oh, I can, add some memory to it, add some, hard drives to it. It feels more modular and more upgradable than a laptop ever is. And this one could be a cool upgrade. Plus, if I spill coffee on the front of it, now I got a new keyboard I can just throw in there.
You're like, just need to swap out everything underneath the keyboard.
Everything that's underneath this, real quick. Let me just whip up this What are you 3D printing in this scenario?
The
It's not
entire
keys.
casing of it. So if
Okay,
you go
but
back,
it's like the keyboard and trackpad and all of that, but like the part that holds the battery in.
yeah, it broke two of the RAID drives and a lot. Oh crap! I hate that. Like that's the whole point of RAID. Is that it replicates itself depending on the way that you would do that. That sucks. I am so sorry for that. He's talking about Origami Live. He swapped out some pieces in his PC and it messed up and he lost a lot of work. Which oof, I feel that.
Does suck.
All right, let's we're trying to get the link in for our, hey look at we could see ourselves double. I still need to get that figured out. All right, as far as the next step of this, okay, I think I got the link. Let me see if everyone's gonna be able to get this. The thing is, that link I think you have to log into an interface. Origami Live. Let me double check. We're gonna put this into the chat right now. Oh, that sounded terrible. What I'm doing is I want to make sure we can get that link in there for him so everyone can kind of see what's going on. All right. Here we go. Let's see if this works, everyone. Oh, there it is, but you may have to log in. And if you can't log in, we'll get you that paper. But we know the name. We know it's made by Talon Smith, the secret name Origami Live. ProQuest, hell yeah, there you go. So check it out. Let me see if I can click it on here, if it shows in. It does make you log in, but I wonder if I can log in. Let me see here. Maybe I can. I'm going to try it right now. Because I think it would be cool to show off if I can get in on stream and show it off, which it's looking very promising right now. All right, here we're gonna show it off because of where we're at.
Hey, whoa, Talon gets a fee when people read this. You can't just be giving it away for free on the stream.
This is part of I guess you can't. So it's part of Colorado State University Pueblo. I'll accept all your cookies. But I love it. Look at Talon Smith, FDM, 3D print failure detection via acoustic analysis and deep learning. This thing is pretty amazing. If I can show, hopefully we're not. All right, here it is. It's opening up in a PDF at this point, so you can kind of see some of the things. Like as I was super impressed. You got some signatures in there. You got some dedications in there.
Yeah, we need the abstract.
Yeah, the abstract. I think that's on the front of it. But I wanted to just show some of the analysis. So that's an ender, right? I love the graphics that you put in here, talking about the different ways that prints fail. You got that is the nightmare of 3D printing if you have a clog or something messes up, and being able to look at that. So in any case, this is, I believe it's 81 pages, if I'm not mistaken, of copious amount of analysis and ways that you're able to detect failures from that. So without having to give every single piece and part of it away, I can tell you put a lot of work into this. So just want to make sure we're giving hella credit to you, man, because we're proud of you.
That's great. Congratulations.
So heck yeah.
Those are brutal.
It's a fee. Yeah. 81 pages, closer to 70. 10 are just graphs. But yeah, that's how you have to do it.
But you had to crunch the data to get those graphs.
Yeah, you did. You had to do a lot of work to put all that stuff together. So hell yeah on you, man. That was great. All right. We're at the point of the show and where I feel like Ryan and I, we said there's a little bit of an Adam versus Ryan going on. So if you're in the Discord, I think we're going to have kind of like a little quick debate style of what's going on. And so let me frame it up this way. this game that we've been building has been in lore for 14, 15 years, almost probably 16 years at this point. And so when we're talking about Skull Bobs, the game that we've been creating, and we've been naming it Skull Bobs, I've been fine with that name all the way through. And I'm not 100% taking any of the Skull Bobs out. But the idea was that as we started to transition from different media types, we started as a game, we went to a animated series, and then we went back to the Game Boy game. So we have been building on the Game Boy game for quite a bit of time. And one of the things that I've learned is that you can't just like jump out, make a game or do something and everyone is going to know about it. So I've been integrating myself in some of the communities out there, learning about how to build Game Boy games. GB Studio is one of those communities. And one of the things that I've been learning is there's kind of a theme, and I don't want to copy the theme that people appreciate, but it's like Zelda, adventure, games for like kids, essentially, family style games. And a lot of the other games tend to not get a lot of like people don't look at them, they don't want to play them. I've seen there was one game that was super intense and like a horror game, and people were like, yeah, this is great, but they weren't into it. And so I was like, whatever, we can do what we want, we want to tell our story. And I'm still about that. We want to tell our story. We started to get a composer. And so I reached out to this composer and I was like, hey, we would really love to use your work. This guy named Beat Scribe. And so if you find him on itch.io, done amazing amounts of work. And the very first thing he's like, I don't know, all Skull Bobs and this, the violence and this, we don't do that. We do other kind of game types. And I was like, no. You see, this is not a horror game. And I had to like really tell the story. And then as I started looking at a lot of other things, like that seemed to be more of the theme that people in the community right now are appreciating. So long story short, I had been thinking, well, how do we start to get our game out there to make sure it's not necessarily considered a horror game? There might be some interesting elements with the skull and other things out there. And I've wanted to say, what's the cool cover art that's not an AI or a pixelated 8-bit game, but like, the cover of old movies that somebody would go paint and make it look all cool. And we'd say, this is just art inspired by the game that we put out there. And if you look at the cover art of games, it's usually like some crazy like perspective thing of a guy stepping out or doing something interesting. And so I started using some AI to come up with some stuff, and I posted it in the Discord. And so what I was proposing, and this is what I think we're going to debate out, was should we keep the name of the game or keep the name Skull Bobs, it's part of the game, but then rename it to like Roby's Adventures or something about Roby doing something, because it's an adventure style game. So that was the first part. And then the second part, and this is a little bit more of the thing that I think Ryan and I got like back and forth on it, was, what is truly Roby's age in this thing? And up to this point, he's been like somebody that's 21 probably or older who's inherited the bar. And I was proposing, and I'll start this off as my debate thing, is I was proposing that he was maybe like 14 or 15, like he totally inherits the bar, but doesn't have the ability to get it yet. And it could explain some of the reasons as to why like he's having to go sweep, he's like a little immature, or why he can't get to areas of the game because he has to kind of like break into those areas to get to the access. Because if you're 21, you're like, I'm an adult, I can get where the hell I want, and I own this place. So I'm going to stop there, and I wanted to hear Ryan's perspective, but that was where the very top level of what I was trying to think about it.
Yeah, so Adam, posted in Discord, and he had been talking, you talked about this a little bit on the last Hangout, right? Maybe a little bit of like changing the name or things like that, right? So I'd been thinking about it a little bit, and then when you had posted the picture of the Game Boy cover, like I saw that and like, hey, that is a cool picture, right? Like cool Game Boy looking picture of like a kid with a little bow tie in it. I don't know if you want to bring it up on the screen, but like cool picture, right? I feel like, and I'm trying to talk quieter because people are in the other room. This isn't like my debate voice.
Yeah, I could tell. It's like, I thought he's really calm. He's gonna get into it.
No, because I'd be screaming at you if that was. I'm just kidding. So here's what a couple different arguments for this. I feel like we kind of chose heart over marketing
Mm-hmm.
3 months ago, right? And what that was is, we decided that there was kind of two paths in the road. And one was a very more marketable, like not our own IP, using someone else's IP to create something that was like a different version of that, right? And then there was using our own IP from 15 years ago that we had done as like a throwback to a thing that we had created 15 years ago that was like a part of our past and everything, that we not only created like an episode 0 for, but animatics and things like that for other episodes, wrote out an entire story, and that was part of it, right? And what I would say is, you either got to go full in on that or it's going to feel unauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, say you go, yeah, we want to use our story, oh, but let's change the title of it to make it more marketable, let's change like Roby to a different age, so that maybe like the anecdotal GB community that you're bringing up, who like that type of thing, right, like might be interested in it. And I would say that you're gonna lose out on the heart side of it. Like, the whole point of going in and being like, we're gonna be try to be differential to the original stuff that we created, like that. And what I don't want is Adam spent 20 minutes making a Dolly image, right? And he thought it looked neat.
It's ChatGPT, by the way.
ChatGPT, well, but that Dolly is what ChatGPT uses
that's
to create
right.
images. And he spent 20 minutes. He made a neat thing. He also talked to one person that he didn't know how to explain the game that we're making. He didn't have the elevator pitch written to explain the game, and it has the name of a skull in it. And so it was hard to explain, right? The guy doesn't know shit about Skull Bobs, heard Skull and went, "Oh, it's a horror game." I don't think that's
A
an
good
indictment.
slice of
I
the.
don't think, yeah, for one, I don't think that's like, oh my God, we talked to two people, or we were in some kind of, Discord thread and heard that, right? Or we spent 20 minutes on Dali and now let's change the thrust of the game. One, because we have a Roby like character like thing that we have done. We have, not only the history of what Skullbobs is, right? From all the animatics and everything from the past, but we also have new things that we've created and storylines around people who are young adults, or into that like sort of thing. I have sort of, or we've like thought about kind of the milieu of the game, the way the dialogue is going to happen, the way the characters are going to interact with each other, sort of the larger or arc of the story. And I feel like changing that because you found a cool Dolly image of a Game Boy game cover that you like, and anecdotal stuff from the Discord of GB Studio, is not a it would be like if I was like, Adam, I Googled things for 20 minutes about this new platform, and I think we should be moving off of GB Studio because and two people in a chat told me that GB Studio is freaking stupid.
So okay,
And I would
counterpoint.
be okay.
I want maybe we should have a timer here because I want to make sure you get your point across, and I'm not cutting you off. I don't want to go all Hannity style because I hate that guy. So it wasn't just the 20 minutes, and so first of all, the artwork. I like the theme and the feel of it. I'm not saying that is it. First of all, I just want to make sure I'm like being real about it. What I'm trying to figure out is, we put on our website, we put on like our Discord pictures of the game itself, screenshots of it. So I'm like, how do we pull out a version of that exists that's like very, when I say marketing, I'm not trying to like market like, yeah, we need to go sell this thing, but I want people to know about it in such a way because we know that's a thing. And so here is the vision that I'm trying to explain of like, how do we take what our theme is and take it out of the pixel realm for a minute and create an awesome graphic, and like I'm gonna
100%.
shoot something into the
about,
dark. So that was the first.
if,
Was it. So I want to just
if you're talking about a marketing piece, 100% we need a marketing piece,
yes,
right? But like, you don't change the entire story or because you made a cool marketing
Okay, it wasn't
piece,
because of
right?
that. So here's my other thought. I've been I have been living in making the game. Like to this point, I wish I'd have like calculated the hours that I've spent just programming in GB Studio. And Roby is like feels like a kid in the game because of his size created, based off the background. And so I think we can fix that if that's where we want to go with it. And then so as I constantly play, I'm like, there's little kid Roby running around. And so I think what I've been absorbing is more of the feeling as I've played it for the many hours of coding it that he's a kid.
And like,
which image do you want to see, Michael? Because like, what I could do is
right, like the cover or how Roby looks now.
So
the only thing I would say is like,
yeah, we'll just keep it open.
Would you say that like every chibi character that you've ever looked at looks like a child, right? I feel like there is, and I would say every Game Boy game and every game where you're running around and doing something in the game has like, video games have scale issues. That is just like a thing, right? And
oops,
it doesn't mean, or there are leaps of faith that people say, right? Like RoboCop, when RoboCop in the movie, was RoboCop jumping onto the edge of
hell yeah, he was like an
windowsill?
acrobat, bro.
Then, but
just kidding, I'm just kidding.
He was not, right? And so, but it wasn't. It was just like you have to go with what the game is,
right?
And I don't think it has to be explained. I don't think someone's gonna jump into our game and be like, "What is happening here? This is some kind of adult jumping on the bar." Ugh.
Well, and I guess that's what I was thinking about, and maybe it's because I've like internalized it as an adult jumping in a bar versus a kid doing it. I know, it's just a thought. And so I wanted to bring it up as a discussion point because I think we got to a logical point here of being able to say, first of all, let's strip away all the background. Let's start thinking about jumping around and start populating it with things in there. And so as I started running it out, and I think the story is maybe more cemented in your head because I've been probably more logical and just working on the games. And I've read through the story points. And I remember like Roby had a girlfriend, Dee, she's pregnant. Those were some of the pieces. And we got through like the arc of it being the first basically couple episodes there, and then the skull potentially getting taken by this alien character. And so I was thinking of the story arc, keeping that. I don't want to change anything, but you might be more emotional that your grandfather died. You might be more manipulatable by some random like alien that comes into the thing to like kind of get you through that. And some of the like more demeaning chores, because I didn't want Roby to be a complete oaf at like 21 and not being able to take it on. So I still can go either which way. But in this case,
go ahead.
Maybe my first step is that if we could start to like get almost concept art that's not pixel art of Roby, it would help me to like tie in to what this looks like. So we have some, isn't Roby kind of based on the age of his point? It connected how old you were when you created the two of it. Yeah, so we were like 21. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like we were like
no
20,
we were
30,
like
25,
23, 24, something like that.
So like,
and we worked on it for a few years.
We did. And so first of all, I didn't want to say, oh yeah, we made this sweet freaking AI thing, let's just go chuck that into the thing. Like I'm trying to help move. I'm not amazing artist like yourself to be able to create something like this. And I'm like, this is what's in my head, Ryan. Can you help take some concept like this and visualize it in a Roby side? Because if you're doing the art side of it, I think that's what I'm asking with this, is that first of all, could we get to that level of something, not exactly that style or any of that, but I like the idea that it has nothing, like look at those two side by side right there. One's very pixelated, one's very much more like, you could get the theme of it.
Here's what I would say. You've been asking for such things for a while now, like a brand kit, basically, for this. And I would say, for one, I haven't had time to work on things.
Fair.
In between. So the idea that you were like, hey, we really need one of these things, and so you went out and you sort of made one yourself. Like, yes, like we probably will I'm not gonna make a cover that looks like that, right? We're gonna AI create that thing. Like that's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
But I think you can do it. I think you could do it and make an amazing, cool cover like this with the adult Roby
So
that we have.
so yes, and so maybe this is a great moment to kind of explain where like so here's the GB Studio community, and what I'm trying to do is that when you get into this community, which is pretty damn active, is you have this work in progress forum. So everyone goes into this forum and they put their little icon, and you scroll down, and then they do all their updates. And you get a lot of people that are in there giving feedback on stuff as it gets built. And so if you put in like a little bit of insight, people are like, hell yeah, that's cool. Like this Metalhead game is like an example of one. We've looked at it on the stream before. This guy, A. Martinez, makes it. So you go in there.
I don't know how much positive feedback you're going to get back for AI images, though.
Oh, and I'm not saying that it's an AI one. Like some of them are
But I'm
AI.
saying we're going to be using AI images, I imagine, at some point.
So if you get that image and you get in there, and we would doctor it up to make it look nice, and not like doctor it to pull the wool over someone's eyes, but to make it, somewhat like, hey, we got close. Now we're going to go fix it up so it looks good. And then we start to create some sort of so if you get into the project, like they just do post all the time. This is what's going on. And you get feedback from the community. We're getting feedback right now from our chat. But what I'm trying to do is like, people will be like, yeah, I love that. If you scroll to the top of what this guy did from day one, I have watched incrementally as people have helped like, hey, why didn't you try this? Or there's this other person that does this. That's great. Don't do that. And I wanted to get it enough out there that we're like established at saying, here is what we're trying to build. Instead of waiting to the end and then just being like, yeah, it's here. And then there's no momentum building and like community involvement and where we're headed. So I think that's what I'm going for, is maybe it's not like, an Adam versus Ryan, but I'm like, how do I get into this? Because I'm in the community. I've been there. This guy that did his Metalhead started in November of 23. And he has like 877 like feedback comments and incremental posts. I've talked with the guy. That's how we figured out some of the swipes. I just want to get in this community a little deeper, because then you get a little bit better feedback and a little bit of more insights. And then we have more of like this established, like, here's what we're doing. If I go talk to somebody who's like, I'm making a Game Boy game, I'm like, here's what it looks like, or here's like the cover of it. I can hand a little sticker out or whatever the hell that might look like. So maybe that's simply where I'm at. Now, the whole Roby's Adventure versus Skull Bob's, like, I'm trying to figure out a way, and I saw some great ones like, Skull Bob's, Roby's Adventure. It's like it's
a Roby Adventure.
Yeah, like it could be that way. I was thinking like Roby's Adventure, the Skull Bob, or some version of that. I'm gonna just take a quick pause from talking about this. One of my problems that they've told me that I've had at work, I went through it, is my strengths are also my weaknesses. I'm an idea generator, that they said, and like it can be like overwhelming to people because I just chuck out ideas, not meaning that they should actually stick. I just want to be like, here are some things we can think about.
This is where knowing Adam for a long time, I know that.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I was in a bad mood last night and Adam started putting this, I was like, I hate all these fucking ideas, you idiot. Like not in so many words, but that I was just like, hey, these all suck. I like, no, what? I don't want to do any of that. If I'm going to be creating this art, I got to be the one who's excited about it.
For sure.
Making a little kid one is not what I'm excited about, Adam. So you can take these ideas and shovel them.
I know. I was like, all right, buddy, I see you're cranky tonight. So maybe we just got it out in the air there, and this is good. We should have these like moments of dissension, because what we're driving for is better. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here. Yeah, Adam is scope creep. God, I really try not to make that happen.
Right. I mean, let's just throw away all the Roby drawings we've done so far and all the backgrounds and all of that stuff and make it a different thing.
I think everything as is right now, it aligns. Now, the question is, and I brought the mural board up too, is that let's start nailing down some of the stories. So let's say, did we make any decisions here? Number one, I'm hearing you. Like, I get where you're coming from. And number one, I'm not pushing him to be like a different age. I wanted to say like, hey, what is his age? Maybe if we can nail that down, that helps out.
Hey,
So we're in the
thanks for
20s.
hanging out, Talon.
Yeah, and good job on your on the thesis, man. We appreciate you. I know he's currently at an audition or he's doing some work for a musical right now. So the fact that he jumped in here even to do that was awesome. So guys,
That
like,
is awesome.
what
I would not have called that with Talon that he was at a musical audition.
he's
but
a singer. Did you know
that's
that?
amazing.
He's
No, I had no idea.
he's a singer. He's an actor. He's amazing. I've seen him at actually we went to one of his shows once, so he's pretty crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, well, he's a Renaissance man, if you will.
Of course.
So there he is. He also does design as well. So man, he's crazy. But getting back to it, what I'm trying to say is maybe I'm pushing because I'm in this community and I want to build up some community.
That's what I feel like it is.
That's
right?
what
like
it is.
you want to be able to do things. So I would say on the opposite side is I have been like trying to figure out GB Studio and how to build a level and do those type. Like I haven't been like if I have time to work on it, which isn't very often, this
Until you sell this
month.
dang house.
Yeah, exactly, which is coming up very soon. But once that happens, I'll have more time into it. And instead of focusing on those things, because I'm not in that community, right? So I'm not like feeling that pressure to get those types of things. I'm more feeling like we don't even have a game. Like, to market to do anything
So,
like we
slap
like,
to
and
the
so
face.
well I like we have a platform with thing that like characters that can do things in them, right? But that does not equal a game. Like
from
we have
the front end of it,
we have a
though.
tech demo. Like we
Right.
have a tech demo of GB stuff. Like we have like it's not a
So
no one would ever play our game in the I would think
in the current state
in the form that it is.
see here, this is where I would kind of push back is that it's a slap almost because it's the thing of like how much time I literally put into like learning and building this into a platform that we can easily add some of these next layers. So if you imagine as much effort it takes to get like, all right, I've been trying to solve these little incremental issues so that when we get to the point where we can put the story and start piecing the things together, we're not having to worry about the technical. And so
well, like 100%, you absolutely have to have that. I'm saying like the work that you're doing, and obviously like you've done a ton of work, and like we appreciate that for the game. Like that has to be there in order to have a game. But also, if I had done 700 sprites of Roby running around, like that also does not equal a game. Right?
doesn't.
Like if I had done 100 different backgrounds and things like that also doesn't equal a game.
But it wouldn't.
Like,
but it depends
but it
on
would
what
have
gets
taken-
into the game. Because, like, for instance, let me just give you an example. It's like, I don't know why I just made some jumping. Are you hearing that? That's hilarious. No, what I've been saying is that the elements that I'm creating are going to make it into the final game. And it's like these
yes, of
iterations. So how do we? Okay, maybe we're saying the same thing essentially. Is that we're at this point where we have the mechanics, we have a lot of artwork, and now we have to like start building onto that story pieces of it.
I feel like this is a perfect. Can you bring up my level that I did?
I absolutely can. And before we do that, what I'm gonna do is let me show you your other art that I built in the game. So first of all, I think everyone may have seen the pizza. So the pizza up there was from one of my workbench sessions. So I do sessions when I'm working in the studio and I do things. And so this little pizza was an example of just like being able to pick something up. In this particular case, I've been working on the inventory, but this is Ryan's animation. I don't even know if you've seen this in game yet, Ryan. Have you seen this yet? So when I pick up this bottle, watch what happens.
Nice.
So to make that happen takes actually copious amount of work just to get it like put together.
I don't didn't argue about that.
No, but so I guess what I was getting at is that there was a funny happen. I'm going to get your game coming up. There was a funny instance, and we can go back to that later if we wanted to, where when I was making it, his hair accidentally kind of got moved down a pixel, and then I made it into the animation because when he kicked his head back, and maybe I should show you that one more time, just since I have it up because it's going to be a pain in the ass to get it back, is that when he drinks, his head is back for a second, but it's just all static, and he doesn't look like he's chugging. And so when I was on the workbench, his hair, I accidentally like moved his hair down a pixel, then up a pixel again. So it kind of looked like he was like chugging it a little bit, and you'll be able to see it in just a second. I don't know why it's taking forever to compile the
like
game.
repeats the animation, right? Like it sort of goes click 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 back and forth and then finishes.
Yeah, because there was I basically had to put a couple frames in here, so I'm gonna blow it up big again. So I had to put a couple frames in there to where he like puts it back, and then he sits there because you got to chug a drink. It takes like 1,000, 2 1,000, and then he puts his beer down. So when he puts his head back, the hair on the back of his head kind of like bounces once. So you'll see it in a second here. So I mean, it sells the action just like subtly. Now, I mean, we could probably improve it, but it's like a funny little like, yeah, he's drinking the thing. So I think
Is there also like there seems like a thing at the very beginning where he like his arm moves double?
and that's how you put the animation was that you have him pop the cap.
Oh, okay.
And then he
That's the
like
pout.
he drinks
Yeah.
it. So that is something I wanted to show you, and I was going to ask you like, does that look like you expected it to? Because he like
Right.
pops it, like some things happen, then he
'Cause I-
chugs it back.
Because I think even I think I was playing it at like 75% or 50% speed or something like that in A Sprite. Because I was like, do I just need to add frames if I want to
Oh, I could
make
add,
it longer?
Oh, I see. I could totally add frames to it. We'll just watch it one more time, and then we're gonna go to yours. So, you kind of looks like he pops it when you know he pops it. Ready?
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes it does it differently.
Yeah, because he like pops it up, and then he like
Yeah,
chucks it
but
back.
then sometimes it feels like there's like a double jerk at it. Like if you run at the thing, anyway, that could just be like
Oh,
so
you know
weird.
what? You might be right, because I bet you what's happening is that he's in a run animation, then it
Yeah.
has to kick back to this, and he chucks it back in.
Right.
So that could be a
Okay.
point. All right, I'm gonna not save that version. I'm gonna get to Ryan's version. So as I pull
Okay.
that up, we like once you set the stage for what we're about to look
I'll
into.
set the stage for it. Okay, so if you saw in one of the workbenches of Adam, he put together like a template level for me so that I could go in and start like making my own levels and sort of playing with things and doing stuff. And I did that. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sketch out this intro, like because we talked about having a like a demo couple areas and a sort of a simple discovery kind of puzzle or something just to like get our legs underneath us. One, to figure out the timing. Is it interesting to go like, is there too many boxes to click on? How do you click on boxes, right? Or like a dialogue, how do you click on things? Do things need to pop up so that you can even understand it? Does something need to happen? All of those things I thought could be like good in this. And so I was like, okay, I set out a thing for like a beginning intro before you even get into the bar. It's like the entryway.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, what if I'm going to build this one out so that that's where you start, and you got to find the key to be able to get out of the door and get into Skull Bob's. And that would require you to do a double, like get a thing, figure out a puzzle, do a double jump, like click on lots of different things to interact with it and get story items, find that, and then go and then leave and go into the actual thing. And I was like, I don't care what the background looks like at this point, right? Like I know in the first iteration of this that there's going to, like, I thought it would be cool if there was a cool statue of Robert Deckard there, like to kind of introduce how famous he was, that there would be a statue even, right? That like he has gravitas and the history behind it and stuff like that. And then it could be part of the puzzle that you're finding things in his satchel, sort of adventure game style. And so I was just kind of drawing it out of nothing. I basically went into Sprite and just freehand drew this on a trackpad. and I
The guy this oh, I see everything.
That everything except for that guy. I just like dollied it, or ChatGPT'd it and got something with him holding a satchel and a skull. And I didn't even care about any of this. But what I knew is that I wanted to have certain spots where you would click on things and hear see dialogue. I knew that I needed a thing that when you collected it, you were able to do the dash. And I knew that once that I needed to be able to push this barrel so that the thing was you could get up onto the windowsill and then like put or push this over so that you could get up to the top. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to try. So I basically failed at all of those things. Oh, see, okay. Like maybe I just don't know how things push or because it did work. I also wanted to try what happens um if I put the because I've been wanting to say like, oh, see, I feel like I fixed some of this too, but this will be I must have given you a slightly older one. But I was like, because I had it as coffee, and I was like, oh, he like gets a coffee, and then he can dash, like he's hungover, and then he was like, okay,
He's got to pick
and
me
then
up.
yeah, exactly, and so then he could just like have that forever. And, and then if we wanted to take it away at some point, we could just be like, oh no, I'm tired, and I gotta wait till I get another coffee, and then we could just give it to him, right? I was also trying to do like I want to put, I wanted to try putting, selecting or clicking on um, elements
Okay.
on a button as
Yeah.
opposed to up, but it didn't work. So I set all of these, and at first they were on up, and then I
Okay.
was like, okay, but I want to see like what would happen if it was like swing or something, because you only have two buttons, right? So it can't be jump
So
because you need jump.
you're saying like on this one,
Yeah.
B.
So I set it to B. I didn't know which button was actually if it was A or B.
So that one should
It I feel like it doesn't do anything.
say if joypad be held because it's on an on enter state. Let's see here. So you should you should,
I was trying to copy it from whatever you had done in the other ones,
so that should
but
work.
then just change it to the B button.
Sigh. I wish I would have known.
And then how come see how it looks like a little coffee
This little
right
coffee
there?
right here.
Yeah. How come it doesn't look like a little coffee when you were on it?
Oh, that's the that's the fun part of it. You have like multiple frames, right? And so you have to like tell it what frame in the sprite that it should be stopped on from an animation.
But like I just overrode your little jar or whatever you did and made it a coffee.
All right, let's first of all let's see if this one worked. So B is the so it was which one right here? It was this middle picture, right?
Yeah.
That was funny. You see the barrel move?
Move randomly.
Let's see here. It's because his hitbox is not. What the heck? Yeah, because that one should trigger on B. So it says if joypad be held. Oh, okay. So I think what we need to do is you have to add. Because where did you pull that from? You have to attach a button state first. So
I thought the button state was if press.
So first you have to say attach a script to a button. And so the button is first of all, you're saying like attach a script to a button. And then the button is if you hold B, then run this. So first of all, you're saying like, hey, I want you to do something with the B button. If it's held, then run this. So I think that should fix that. So this is where it gets a little bit more of like, and so you're overriding the swing at that point. So we may need to take that off.
Well, and these are the types of things that I feel like if we can get this stuff set up of like, here's exactly how we trigger dialogue, then we can just copy and paste it or I can figure out, what the settings are for each one of these that needs to be set up. And then we can be like, great, it's this picture and this picture over here. And is that fun enough? No, it should be less pictures. So like, no, let's like remove some of these pictures.
And
I mean, that's what I was trying to.
And maybe what this is really getting down to is like, how do we? So yeah, it's just because you have to. It seems like just hitting the button and throwing that on enter script would make sense, but you have to like run this event to say attach it to the thing.
Like, that's fine. Sure, whatever.
Cool.
Like,
but now I think that the challenge now is, let's see here. There's a coffee thing. Is I don't think his swing is there. Yeah, because we changed.
Why does it keep?
because what we did is we overrode the action to always do that thing. So there's some other little complications. That's the crazy part of this. So I'm gonna not
Sure.
override the action. So it's
So-
like
so
only
then-
when you're
so-
on it should it trigger this, but when you're not on it, it should go back to the other aspects. of
Well,
the thing.
and that's one of those things where, like, that's where I need your help because, like, I would rather it be on a button, but that doesn't mean if it can't work like that, or
Well,
there's technical limitations, or
I don't think there's it's
make it
more
hard.
because there's not just two buttons. You could say like if you're pressing up and B or down and B gets this or that. And I'm not saying that we should do that for the pictures, but I'm saying that maybe you have to select your weapon to arm it. And
Right.
then and otherwise it's just you're spamming B to like interact with things. So let's see.
Yeah,
so,
like maybe up like
so he has
arms you with the weapon.
so he has his swing, but now if he does it, he talks, which is fine. So yeah, so we have to it's now just saying once you entered that, you're attaching the B to the button and it's always going to be that. But then then you'd have to go to an on leave script in your case to say like when you leave it, go recall his like player thing. So like add the event, I would probably call a script, and then we would call the player setup script. So that should fix it. So yeah, there's like little nuances of it. Because what you're essentially doing is you're overriding. When you enter it, it says attach a script and do this. And now it's just saying, okay, I entered the thing, so I'm always going to do this because you told me now that I should be changed up. But then when you leave it, you want to say, well, when you're leaving it, you should go back to the default of what you had going before you touched the thing. So
Well,
that
and that's-
totally can make
so-
that happen.
So I guess so if that, I guess the thing is I don't know if I want that. Right? Like I need to be able to like try it in this level to be like, hey, when I run around, should I have to pull out the weapon every time? Right? Like maybe you would, like maybe you'd want to hit up and that would pull out your weapon. But then any other time it's just you running around and clicking on things. Because I imagine if we're talking about we're not going to have a very enemy heavy game, like it's more about clicking on things and learning the story, right? And then this, like, I feel like the barrel pushing.
So he got it. Did you see? It's like you go here,
Yeah.
you hit it. He says, I would have known you better. And then it's weird because it's like it's touching B, but when I hit B again, it doesn't do anything. I have to hit A to get out for some reason. But then right when I leave that, I'm in
Okay.
this punch mode.
Then you can hit again.
Yeah. But I go back in
And
there.
And like what triggers it to do it? Like you have to be fully inside of the thing.
That's a great question. So here, maybe this is great. This is a perfect question. So see this square, you have a 4x4 grid on this square. So if I click this hitbox that you created here, you go over to the triggers over here and it's showing it's like 2 tiles by 2 tiles. So it's 4 tiles together. So then if I go into the sprite sheet and I go into sprites and I'm going to go down to Roby with the cricket bat and let's go to him swinging. So I have to go to his cricket bat, and then there's the swinging animation. You can just forget about the default and the different various modes that we're gonna have because I have another one with he's drinking now. But now in this mode, when I click into like where Roby is, there's these collision boxes. That's his collision box in everything. So if I were on, let's say, moving, let's do that, like in the middle of his swing, his collision box is just that slender thing, and there's a reason for it. His collision box is much more thin because of some reasons. Let me just tell you that much. Because when you're switching between like one sprite to the next, if there's some weird overlap that happens, it doesn't connect the bat with your enemy right. And so I've had to do like, I guess that's all the little like tuning and little like nuances that have been like tuning this thing so that everything is like, all we got to do is throw things on top. So if you go rough on some of the sprite sketches, we're going to have to retune them. Now the background doesn't matter that much, but you just got to realize that this little box, which is not even a full, that's like 4 pixels. It'll tell you right here. So the width is 4 pixels. by 25 pixels in height. So that little hitbox going back into the game, if he's swinging, would hit that. But going back into sprites again, default Roby, that's his hitbox. So he's just running around. He has a much broader one, 12 pixels by 25.
Which I feel is so. I mean, it goes to the basic thing of what our game is, right? If the main thing of your game is clicking on text and sort of learning things and running around and getting things and finding stuff out and pushing stuff around and talking with characters and then going and doing something and talking with different characters, I feel like the running up and being able to click on things and have it easily trigger and not have to feel like it's a pixel hunt, right? Or you're like, I clicked on everything in this freaking room. Like there has to be something. You're like, oh, I wasn't like standing close enough to the picture, right? So then at that point it makes me think like maybe the bat or weapon should be on a pull out, right? Like to say he has a bat or he has a gun or he has something and he pulls that out so that he can be swinging. But when he's just running around and exploring, he's in his old, normal version of him, which he has a bigger hitbox. So then you find more things.
I think you're right. But if he's running around, okay, imagine him running around. This is his hitbox. For the second he swings, it goes to the smaller hitbox. And the second the swings over and he's back to this hitbox.
Yeah.
So if you were just constantly swinging, then you're in that smaller hitbox state. So I think, it somewhat solves it a little bit because you're not going to be constantly swinging, I guess is what I'm getting at.
But you would, because you would be like, I need to find what things are in this level.
Yeah, we got it.
So you'd be like, swing, swing, swing. You'd just be running around and swinging and everything until some kind of dialogue triggered, right?
Well, you would, but yeah, because I'm thinking you would select it. That was the whole point. You'd say, okay, here are your weapons. Scroll through which one you want. Is what I'm hoping.
So yeah, cool. Like perfect.
So that's yeah, absolutely. So this one, I wanted to like quickly address this one. So it looks like you had this little pillbox that you wanted to create. And
that's a coffee.
Oh, looks like a pillbox. Oh, no, I see the coffee. I got it now.
With the little cup, the little.
I saw pills. I saw like Advil because he had a headache from his hangover. But I get it. So if you wanted this, see how there's frame 1, and if you go down here, frame 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4, and then there's like a selector frame. So I have 4 frames. It's idle. It's just a sprite sheet, if you will, with 4 different things. If I go back into the game world, and this is your pillbox, and this is what you want to be the pillbox. So there's a couple things where you say on update, which means when you go into the world, which of those frames do you want it to dock on? And so you have it currently as 3. And so if you went to the game world, I think frame 1, into the sprites, the first one is, I think, 0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Because 0 always holds a place in like coding. And so in this particular case, if you want that pill thing to be the thing, there's these 3 different states. There's like, what happens when you hit it? What happens when the whole thing initializes into the level itself? And then what happens as it constantly is updating on this frame? So the very first thing is I'm going to go to the on update. I'll turn that to 0. And then when the whole thing initiates, you're going to say it's at 0.
Okay. And why does it show 0 on the screen?
Where on the screen?
Like it shows the coffee cup right now, right?
Oh, because it's the very first one. It always shows 0. Okay. So it's hilarious because like even if I put 3, it should have been showing the vial. But now if I were to run this, you should be seeing that. Copy. Now, there's some other limitations to how many of those frames you can have in one. So I would stick to the size that I created, and it's more of a limitation of GB Studio than it is the thing. Because at one point I was like, sweet, we're gonna make one humongous sprite sheet with a gazillion different like little items on it, and it's gonna work. And apparently that's not how it works. You can't do it that way. You have to be limited to like 4 or 5 or something into that manner. And I think it's changed since then, so you can go a little bit further. But if I look at this now, here's your world. I suspect it's going to be a coffee cup. There's your little coffee cup.
Yay.
Then get his coffee, and then you can tell the text.
Yeah, well,
Like
because at
the-
first I was just like, oh, I just write it all out in this thing, but you have to like put the hard returns in.
Yeah, you do.
I thought I had changed that, but I think I changed it for some of them. Okay, one other thing.
Yep.
So up in the top left corner
Okay.
is what I would consider like the key, right, for the door that you got to get to.
Oh yeah, right over here.
And I stole that from one of the keys that you put somewhere else.
Sure.
So I probably didn't know because probably what's happening is nothing is showing up there because the first thing is blank in the sprite sheet or something. Because I thought I was pasting I thought I was pasting a normal thing into there.
Yeah. See, these are the little nuances. Is because on the background, you would have to, and if we go to the different keys, I'm swapping tiles. It's a tile swap. So if
Yeah, because I saw it with the numbers.
that is literally baked into the background. So if I move this little thing off, that is just on the background itself. 02, 03. And so those are even the locations on this pixel grid. It's like saying at this. So if, all right, let me just explain it this way. So see at when I highlight this on the screen, let's see here. It's under my picture. I'm going to hide my picture. If I highlight on the screen, I don't know if you can see it. In the very far left-hand corner at the very bottom, it says S1 storage X equals 0, Y equals 0. It's probably hard on your screen if you're looking at it in Zoom. But down at this bottom area, can you see where my mouse is?
Mm-hmm.
So down here, this little tiny thing comes up, and it will tell you the exact coordinates of that tile. And so these coordinates here are in this little script off to the right. So 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, and that's basically tile location on this platform. And all it's doing, it's just swapping tiles out. So so when you run this world, it doesn't show numbers. It shows whatever I swapped the tiles out. And in my case, I swapped it into a key tile. So I'm thinking like you shouldn't even mess with that right now. What we probably can do is put some like placeholders in there. And then when we're ready and say like, we really want the key here.
Right.
Where's your thing? Well, we will put the key there when you're ready.
Okay.
For it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I need to be able to try to like test it, so however that is easiest for like right now to just put a key there or put whatever.
Just put
like
the
it doesn't
coffee
need to be a key.
Put the key. Yeah. Put the coffee. Well, and that, I think what we would probably do, and this is funny because what we're trying to figure out here is we were able to sprint in our own areas for what? 6 months up to this point, almost 6 months.
Right.
And now we've got to the point of convergence. If we want to sum where we're at, we're at this stage where we now have to say, okay, you got the art and pixel, I got the programming under wraps. How do we start to work together? And this goes to the GitHub conversation. This goes to how are we working on the same damn thing? Because your version that you're working in now is probably like 4 versions behind of where I've been on the coding side of it. And each time I get to like a snapshot, and I think you've seen this before, is like if I go back into, I don't even know, I'd have to go into it in a second. I'll let me grab that in a sec. But in the Google Drive, I've been specifically building out a repository so we can go back at any point. There was one point where I messed something up considerably, like the entire engine was borked. And I was like, well, I'm going to lose a day's worth of work. So I'm going back one version because I didn't know what I broke. And so like that is my north, is to continue keeping all of that stuff together. So I don't know where you're at that point. So you got to think of that your world, at least at this point, could be disposable. And then we have to recreate it in the other world. Is that how you're building it? Or
Because well, I don't care at this point.
Okay.
I just need to be able to try it out as a game that is fun to play, that has interactions, right? Like, so if you look at the mural board, it has all the interactions that you're supposed to be doing for this one room. Like, and it's the top left there. And so this is what I need this room to do. And so it has to have these different things that you're going to click on, right? And I need it to happen in a progression. So like, because I thought like this is all things we're gonna have to do in our full
Okay.
game,
For
right?
yep.
Is be able to like click on things, learn new information, solve a puzzle, which is pushing the barrel, use the double jump to do platforming to get a key or to get something that triggers new dialogue from other parts,
Yeah, for sure.
and then and so like those are all the things that I just need to happen in that world so that we can play that game. And I feel like if we can get this level to feel somewhat fun, or not even fun, but just like, oh right, I'm getting the storyline, I can jump around, it's not too hard to get the thing, I can understand it. Like if we can get it to that level, then we just scale that out through an entire like game, and we will add certain different things. There'll be enemies and there'll be stuff, but like the main things in our game are going to be finding things, finding keys open doors, right? We're going to unlearn things through dialogue, and we want new dialogue to trigger when new things happen. And so that's what I'm trying to get to do in this one, and that's when I sort of built this out. And what I think we'll learn is that interesting? Is that worth going through an entire game
I,
and doing stuff like that?
I think
And the only other thing, if we can get it to work here, right? And what I'm hoping is you can sort of be like, great, now I know how dialogue triggers. I know how dialogue triggers if something has already been collected, and now like and so like if we can get those basic building blocks of our game, then it'll be easier for me to like go, great, now I can build the next level, and now I can build and you and I can build levels, and do things back and forth. um
I think you're
and and one part of this too is like we need to dial in the things that we've like basically got, but like the barrel pushing like does not work well in
mhm.
this. And so if we want barrel pushing to be part of the game, then we need to focus on it and make that like an
Mhm.
easy and intuitive to be pushing around and doing things. That's what we should be like tweaking in this level. And then if we decide, man, barrel pushing is a pain in the ass and it doesn't work well, and we don't, then we just eliminate that from all, of how we're thinking about how we're building the game. Right. And so that's what I feel like once you start building out these levels, you'll be like, right, oh, okay, it is fun to do platforming and jumping and hitting things. Like we'll do that at a different level. And we just keep making those parts fun. And then once you have 4 or 5 things that are fun, then you're like, great, just repeat that throughout the entire thing and tell our story.
I mean, I think that's what I'm doing because maybe in your sense of that, I got the barrel to where you can kind of like push it shittily at this point, but he's pushable. So I'm like, I got it. There's some like, it's almost like, oh, I got the pixels to the point right now where we know that's something. So can we just make sure that that's actually going to be worth the effort of finalizing those pieces? So I'm kind
Right.
of
Yeah, like is pushing things, is taking boxes and or objects and pushing them to be able to jump up on them, is like is that going to be a key asset of our game?
push is a huge part of the game. Yeah, MVP bro, push bro.
Yeah, well, and right now I feel like the pushing is too jank to have in
Well,
a
you're
game.
not wrong. And so the reason why is I don't have switch between the weapons. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, and this is exactly the thing is like I've done the whole I gotta put a wide kind of version of this to get enough interaction to even do one of the things you're saying to do. If I just focused on the barrel, we'd have a sweet world where all you could do is push a barrel. But now I've got it to where you could swap between animations. You can actually do some sort of melee. You can push an object. You can interact with an object. So kind of think about it just like I'm building up pieces and parts. And so if the barrel's where we need
Sure.
to focus it, like totally can make that work. What I guess if and part of it is just you got to know how to do the barrel. What happens is if you touch the barrel and then you stop on it, you just have to push it once. And that's all it does. Now, if I'm away from it, you can't do anything. I know that's not ideal. When I fix it to like where it's not like that, so you have to go touch the barrel, push it every single time it will work. You just touch it, you push it, And so right now what makes it feel awkward is you go push it and you're like smacking the button and you're like, why is it not pushing when I spam the button? So if I were to jump up to it and like touch it and then I turn this way, it comes the direction that you're facing. So there's like these little nuances of the code that I need to like figure out. So of course right now this isn't great because he's swinging the bat. It should really actually, when he's touching it, you should like hit it
You
and
should
then
just push it.
He
right?
should have
and
like a push animation.
A push animation, and it just pushes and it stops. Right, like it should stop when it gets to the edge of the.
It pushes
of the
one tile, yeah, and all of that is we just need to put like an invisible barrier that says, or you can only go X to X on the thing. All of those things that maybe in my mind I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to like finish that out. We need to know the constraints of the world to say this is where it stops and this is where it stops on either side. Like in this case, because you have 4 barrels on here, now I know the coordinates where this should be put. That's probably it. You couldn't go any further than that because it's like right on the corner. So now I could say can't push any further than that, and then there would be like a pull animation where you can pull it or something. You like yanks it, or I don't even know what that would look like. But yes, I'm on the same boat.
But what I also is like pushing barrel, like I don't know, like is pushing barrels like I don't know what else things can do, right? So if we want to, like, it's almost up to you. You say I can nail pushing barrels, Ryan, so that it'll work, and the barrel, won't just float in the air, and it will like do this. And if you say that, then like we will create platform puzzle elements with stuff pushing, right? Like that will be the thing.
I think it's huge to the game. And what? Okay. So one of the things I was thinking that would make it hella fun.
You should focus on barrel pushing and make that,
or just
like,
pushing in general.
a thing.
Pushing objects is what you're saying.
Pushing objects.
One of the areas that I'm really excited about is actually more of the platformer. I have bought a bazillion Chinese games. I've been playing itch games like none other. And there's a lot of them that don't have a lot of enemies, or enemies that are just like on rails going back and forth. And the platformer is fun as hell. And I'm like, our platformer right now is so much more fun. And I watch how many people love the game that I'm looking at. And I'm like, I know we have something good here. We have some mechanics, the size of our character. He has like some dynamic animations. There's some really cool things we got. We just need to put it in some cool platformer worlds. So one of the things I guess I'm a little like would ask you is, why is there even this much background to it? I thought your concept was like, we're just going to put a random platforms in area and say like, can you make that jump? So for instance, on this particular level, and I think I did it with this one, is that this jump, if I'm not mistaken, is like the amount of tiles that you have to have the dash to make this jump. And so what would be cool about it is if you had to like go all the way up to this one area to get the dash, and they're like, hey, there's that one jump, I got the dash now. If I go all the way back through the level and go to that one area, I think I can make that jump to that ledge that I remembered back on the map, like, this other direction. And so you would be having clues to get you to another part, but you had to like jump up there and go up.
It's like at some point that's going to be the only thing that we have to work with. Right, like, I mean, if you're pushing things and we don't have that many enemies, like, you sort of have to have puzzles like this. The only thing is like the rooms that we're making are pretty small.
Oh yeah, we can totally make them. So if I jump right here, like, see how you can't make that jump? I mean, and so what I was thinking you were doing is gonna put like some more just blocking out blank things like this and saying like, okay, now you can make that jump, and maybe there's another one that's there and there's like a couple across. I want to make a world that is 1 or 90 degrees of what we have here. Just imagine one of these flipped on its side, then it's just like an up and down level, kind of like a Metroidvania, where you're having to like go back and forth, and if you miss the jump, you fall down just enough that it's not all the way to the bottom, but enough that you're like, damn it, I got to go get back up to this part again.
My idea was that would be the brewery level. The brewery level would be the one that is like up and down. because you would have these giant stills and you would be going up through the entire thing of this like factory almost. And that's what it would be. There would be platforms you'd be, and this one would be more sideways, so there'd be stuff like this happening. But I guess like we can make those things and have stuff going around it, right? But and then maybe this is just a thing with the game. Is it like I thought you were more like into it being like telling the story of it and triggering dialogue stuff that like almost like an adventure game, right? Has some like platformy things, like
Sure.
some stuff like that, but it's mostly like I'm going and exploring rooms and I'm clicking on a bunch of different things and dialogue is getting told to me and then I'm going, "Oh, right. I do need to go into the janitor's closet on the third floor, on the third building on the left-hand side of the bar and like push the barrel from the left, and you could accidentally find it maybe, or maybe that triggers it. So now there is a barrel for you to push in the janitor's closet or something like that, right? Like, so I guess maybe we need to decide like, are we making a platformer? Are we making just a thing where it is about like the skill of jumping around from platform to platform? And there's just like elements in the thing, but really it's your skill moving between them is what's going to get you like
It,
progressing.
it's a
Well,
Metrovania. I mean, it is platforming, and one element you're like,
but like a Metroidvania doesn't have a ton of dialogue where you're clicking on things and learning about a bunch of stuff. Like cutscenes
yeah,
happen
that's
in
true.
Metroidvanias, right? And
I want to be careful of how many like things come up and tell a certain part of the story. We got to be really careful. Like if it's too much of that, I think it almost goes the other way. I want to balance it between Metroidvania, kind of like an adventure, like a Zelda where you're getting interesting powers, and then probably some cutscenes to tell some of the story. I think it's a balance between all of it. But one area you're kind of missing out on is the AI, and I've been really specifically like that is the thing I've been reserving to put a lot of time in is the how do we do enemies? And I've been working on like the rat enemy, for instance, that we talk
Mhm.
about, and he's gonna beat it with the little cricket bat. It's gonna just be some rail enemies. A lot of them are gonna be
Yeah.
on rails, and so
Mhm.
I think that's gonna be the cool element is that some of the enemies might be a rat, some of the enemies might be like some weird spraying out of beer that will hurt you and you have to
Yeah,
dodge it as you go through. And so I think
totally.
that's basic. So just making some fun puzzles of how do you get through this little part and then
Yeah.
get to the story point. So the reward is getting the story sometimes
Yeah.
more so than
Right.
like just
Well,
spamming buttons trying to find the story.
and I guess what I'm trying to do in this first level is just like cram as many things that we know that we need to do for this full game into one little section, right?
Fair.
So it has a pushing thing, it has triggering dialogue, it has dialogue that you collect something and that does new dialogue into a thing. Like like we would probably not have this many things in the original
Shoved
like
into the
going
thing.
in
Yeah.
shoving into the thing, but it's almost like the prototype of the level. And if we can get all of those things to happen in this and they happen smoothly, and when you go and trigger this thing then you go and do that, then we could be like, great, now how do you like stretch that out across a fun thing? And maybe that's a bunch of platforming, right? Maybe that's more trigger of dialogue, maybe it's less trigger of dialogue, maybe it's more characters, but at least we would know like we're triggering dialogue and we're pushing barrels and we're jumping over things,
Well,
right?
I think you nailed all the things as we need, and I don't know if this is maybe what Michael Azul was saying is MVP push, bro, being saying like the push is an MVP or push for the freaking MVP. I
No,
can see that.
like yeah, the minimum viable
Yeah,
product,
yeah,
right?
that's what I'm
MVP.
saying.
Yeah,
Are we getting for that? Is it, I was wondering
yeah.
if that's what he's referring to, and so I think that's where we're on. We're actually on schedule according to some of our project. If you were curious of where we were going, is that we were going to spend a bunch of this time getting to this point where we felt capable that we even had a game. So
Yeah.
I'm actually feeling like we're on point here at getting to the MVP, which was the original goal. Is that we were going to say, are we going to build this game? When you look at the whole thing that we were trying to build here, if we went down to it, it's that we're not building Oh, wow. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We're not building everything that we see here, like this whole area. We were just saying like a slew of these rooms. It could be even a lot less than the rooms that we have here, because that's a lot. We were saying no sewers, no storage, and then there's probably like three of these. This is the bar. There's a whole nother maybe scene that we haven't even thought about yet and talked about yet that we would create, and then there would be some other like outdoor scene that maybe is another game. Maybe this is the whole vertical slice of the game. We have enough here that we can even scale it back to just these orange levels. I think these orange levels are even less than these orange levels is our MVP.
And the thing is, I feel like once you had like say we had the first level, that first entryway done out, and you were like, yeah, we could push a thing, we can collect something, we can do all the things that we talked about, right? You can do all of that in that first level. I feel like actually building out the levels then is not that hard, because you go, right, I'm gonna create the lounge. It's still gonna have the same little background. It's gonna have the same little barrels. It's gonna have the same like stuff of all of these tavern levels. And then you just go, right, because we're gonna meet this character here, and I'm gonna add him here, and he's gonna trigger this thing that is over there.
Oh,
And
I
like, and
hear
then
what
it's
you're
just
saying, man.
about like doing all of that stuff,
Get
right?
all the play pieces on the table is what you're saying.
Yeah, because and that's why I think laying out 20 rooms like this, like, I don't know, is 20 rooms fun? Maybe 10 rooms is more fun because it's less confusing to be in. Maybe it has to be 40 rooms, because I imagine a Metroidvania is more like 40 rooms
It's
in
a
a level.
bunch of different things, and that's where you can navigate between different like sections and themes and other things that happen.
Because
But
that's where we sort of have a Metroidvania, in the sense of like, oh, you're in the tavern level and you're doing things in there, and then that unlocks the brewery level. And I like Megazul had a cool thing in there of like turning on and off valves so that like beer is spraying or beer is flowing through stuff, so that you can keep moving up. Like you're trying to like,
yeah,
you're blocked by something, so now you have to like turn this wrench, and then that does up to here, and now there's aliens up there that you're killing or whatever. And I feel like I'm fine with it, with enemies that are on rails.
so
Like we just
let's
do a thing where it's like it's a little drone that runs into you or something, that recognizes you, and then you get lasered or something.
I looked at the different AI types. There's like ones on rails. There's ones that react when you get close to them. There's a couple other ones where like you have a hitbox and then it reacts and like charges you. So there's
Nice.
a handful of different types
Great.
that you can easily put in. I mean, and I get the logic behind it. It makes a lot of sense, and I've been able to build some of that. So let's get down to the brass tacks and saying, okay, what do we need to do to make this? Because when I built this, I guess my original thought is that you would come in and this level would just be a bunch of little platforms all over the world, and you were more or less like testing how the jumps between those would work. So you would know that if I'm building a world, I have to space things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. There has to be 8
Sure.
tiles in between the two things you want to have that jump. So if you were to build it up into this world, and I'm just even looking at it, is that let's say you needed to get on top of this door, and the way that you get on top of the door is you had to somehow get on top of like this little thing that's being held up.
That's what it is. It's the thing on the left, right? Like you can't get to the key on the left. And so
Right.
you need to push the barrel to be able, and I don't know if those are the right, like, I think it's too low. There might have to be another level of this. Like, those are the things
Yeah.
that I was trying. And you'd be like, right, you push the barrel and then you're able to make the jump.
So
So maybe there has to be barrels in the way, or I don't know exactly.
So maybe what we need to do is that we need to, and I'm gonna say this in a respectful, is we stay in our own lanes a little bit. Like you're like, don't fucking make the marketing shit at them, and then like I'm maybe like don't like put too much of the thing. Is like, what if you just made this background, and literally on the background you just drew a key there. You're like, this is where the key needs to be, Adam. Like you can make it disappear and do the thing. Like the best I can do is stage out the level to say this is where I think the key should be, and you can go and put some of these, you know how to put the little things in there to
But
put it in.
the only thing is, we need to be able. We don't know. I don't know where the key. Like I'm thinking that the key is up here, and
So,
this is how you jump and do things.
If
So
you
like,
took this level, like here, and then just imagine that wasn't there. Like pretend that you're just like, all right, I'm gonna visualize that this platform is a barrel. And then,
The problem was I couldn't visualize it.
Okay.
Like if every one of these little layers to stand on was just a black line, it would just look like a mess of black lines everywhere,
Sure.
wouldn't it? Like,
Well-
so I was kind of like, well, I got to put barrels here because we need barrels to push. And like, I need him to stand on something under these windows. And so I was like, well, it'll just be like a shitty,
so how do we make
trophy
a
case.
how do we scale back to that? Maybe that's what we're trying to say is instead of it just being like, a drawing like that, what are the building blocks that we could say, like, so instead of it just being a block, and maybe that was another piece, is that this doesn't have to just be a platform. Why didn't you, instead of it, make it a barrel? You just draw on your thing, like, what is a barrel? 4x4. So it's just a 2x2 tile. So you just have like a square that's black there, and then like you put another square black, and so
I mean, I guess, and you're right. We would probably do that when we were building out dozens of levels. But for this one, I just needed a place to. That's what I feel. I don't know if I'm like not getting it or not talking about it in the sense of,
I know what you're saying
like,
here.
Like, all I'm saying is this little intro. If we could get this to work well with triggering dialogue and collecting things and doing stuff, then like
what is this then? Like, is this not like you trigger things, you can jump to things, you can get to barrels, and they have like there's the little key.
No, because it. So what how this one doesn't work is there is no story to this one.
Okay.
Right. Like you're just running through and you're doing stuff. So like that would be fine. Like if this is our test.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Cool.
Like we need to have a thing. Well, because I don't have the story, or I don't have any storyline or anything written out for this. So I had it for the intro room as a test. But whatever. Like. We just then what we need to do in this one is like put a character there or something and have it where I'm triggering dialogue and it says go and do this thing, and then I have to go and push a barrel to be able to make it across to the top. I feel like it's all theoretical at this point, and we need it to be like a level that makes sense where you do things in it, so that we know how much stuff do we need to put in here for you to click on. Like. That's why I feel like we are at tech demo.
Well, and maybe that's where I've always been under, like, I got all the pieces, they're all in this world. How do we want to arrange them? And because you can go,
and that's what I was trying to do in this intro level.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to do is put a level and be like, what has Adam done? Adam's done dialogue triggering. Adam's done key thing. Adam's done barrel pushing. And Adam has done these, and that's what I was trying to cram into that bottom level, or like this intro level. And I was basically like, I was having trouble doing that.
Good night, Heather. Thanks for hanging out tonight. So so maybe what we just need to do is say, all right, the bar is the centerpiece, and maybe that's why I always focused on the bar, being like, here's our playground of all the things. We have the rooms that you can go out and into. It's like that's why it's so long, is you can go. So think about it like this. If I go, let's see here. The story, at least that I thought we were trying to do is that you start in this room and you're like, okay, I'm in the thing. And then you talk to this guy, and I don't even know if I have it programmed in this version or not. Yeah, so let's play a game. And like he could say like, hey, do you know where the key is to get to the outside? Because then you go to here and you're like, oh, shoot, there's a door. It's locked. Okay, so now I have to find a key. That's what I got to do in this level. So then you go into here and you're trying to like jump up into things. And you're like, there's something up there. Do I need that thing? Maybe I do. I don't know. Okay, so you're walking through the level. Little things are exploding. You find this. You can turn on music. And you can go through there and you get to your first room and you're like, okay, well, what can I do in this room? Oh, here's some interesting things. Like, oh, Robert Decker climbed the peak. It's like, I thought this was the demo. So then you come over here, you're like, oh shoot, I got something cool. Now I could do a thing. Maybe if I go back, which it's true, you go over to this thing, and the only way you can get that thing over there is you have to use this jump. You can't get it without getting up onto here, jumping and like hitting the those buttons. Like there is no way to do it. And I timed it and I looked at the jump. And so you get it. So you picked up the Game Boy, Gramps gave it to him. Oh crap, it doesn't do anything. Can I go out the door with it now? Nope. And so anyways, I know I'm playing it out, but like you have to keep going around in this world to figure out how to get out of it. So you got a little jump now, you're figuring out things, you run through here, can't get into the bathroom. Oh crap, what's up here? Is there something that I should do up here on these ladders? And like you come up into here and you do see another thing. And so you're like, there's something up there, and you go try to get that. That just tells you a storyline if you get it. And then finally, if you get to the very, very end of the game, you get to this thing, and I don't have the key in this because I didn't like load it right. But if I come over here, and I think I even have it to where you push the barrel to get the key, like you're saying, like this is where the key is, and you jump up, and you heard a little beep. You get the key, and it's just not showing because I don't have it programmed right. This one in this version of the game, or we didn't load it right. If you go all the way to the back, you've got the key, you've explored the level, you found a bunch of clues, you did all the things, and now if that guy had said something, you should be able to get the key. And it got done. So like it's a whole little game in and of itself, right then and there.
I guess maybe when I go through it, maybe I need like a more directed thing for it. I guess like it doesn't seem. Maybe I just need like the cutscene to tell you what to be doing, or
totally
like this needs to go. Then absolutely, let's just build that. Let's build this part out then.
Yeah.
As a thing that how the actual storyline is going to play out then.
That and I guess
maybe I just didn't realize that was like.
Was that what you're asking for though?
But like I guess I'm asking because I don't know. I don't know how much like sort of back and forth there needs to be, right? Like how much does it need to explain what's going on? How much does it need? Like I want to like click on a bunch of little things and learn all about them and do those things, right? And so I guess I didn't know how to build those things into this.
Well, and this is where we're at. You got to see like the vertical slice that I was able to build in. Now we just need to say, how many pictures do you want to put into this, and what is the interaction in this environment? So maybe that's where I was always confused as to why this wasn't what you were thinking it would be, and we needed to go somewhere else with it. Because let's see here in this. Okay, let me make sure on this. So in this room, I just changed the dialogue, and like you can go up to him, and I think you have to do I have to hit him? Do you have a key? And that might be the first thing. So now you have a trigger that there's a key. And of course you got to remember there's an inventory where you could also put hints in the inventory. So right now it's a bunch of this thing that's the wrong thing. It should be question marks. If we start from the like load screen and all that, this would all fill out. And so if you hit on this, it'd be like buy a barrel. And you're like, well, shoot, what's buy a barrel? So like, do you get your inventory? Do you have to like find a book and then you're like, now you have an inventory of things, and then you go through and all the clues are in your inventory.
Right. So I guess like how would I need to be able to know how to build like add things to that, I guess, like or
maybe it's not that, because it's going to be a pain in the ass. Let's just put it on that. Like, I almost feel like I can't do any of the pixel work because I'm so into building all this ridiculousness on the sides to build this logic to make these things work. So I think what it could be is that we do this agile approach, and we have Trello boards, we have these things. And so we say, okay, we've got down to this week. Here's the environment. We have it all right here. We could probably just use this and build a really good, like, we just need to add some more stuff to this. Just fill stuff out. And so the first thing is like, all right, number one, let's make it just like what we already had almost, which you already had on the Miro board, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, could you just make the Miro board into that? Like, if I have this.
Yeah, so let's run it through. So photo and wall. I wish I'd have known him better. So we just need to pick what photo we're thinking of. Door is locked in the lobby. I thought that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, how am I supposed to run this place? Oh, so you were thinking running into the bar. I was thinking the door was locked out
No, so I'm thinking this is the front entrance, and you can't get
into the
into the
bar.
bar
Okay.
until you figure something out, right? Like, and that forces you to figure it out before
Right.
you move on, right? It's like your tutorial level.
So it's a little tiny one. So maybe we just go up and there's like some other like maybe he doesn't even get the key. Like there's the first door to get out that's like outside, and then there's the door into thing. You're like, damn, the thing's jammed, and he goes and finds like a hairpin and he picks the lock
Sure,
and he gets
whatever.
in. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's your little like thing. And then he gets into there. Yo, see, it did see door to street. No, I can't do this. I just got to find a key. So I think that's where I got the key for the door from that one. We took the statue out because it was like tanking how many pixels we had. But maybe if we can get like a simpler version, we can make that work. Click on that. He loved the stupid weird skull. Body. So I think a lot of this is here. We just need to like put a little bit more complication onto it to get it to the point. I think what was helpful is that you got into the world to start to see, okay, this is how it's going to take some effort to get all the different parts and pieces in the right places. And what I was finding, what I loved about what you did with this bar is because it was all the way at the end here, is that you end up exploring all these other rooms. And I was trying to draw people into like saying like, all right, the goal of this little game is to get out this door because you say it's locked, you need a key. And then this guy was supposed to say like, you want to play a game? But of course I could say, yeah, can you help me find the key to leave? And so then you're like, your mission has now been granted. You have to find the key to get out of this mission. And then the rest of it is you're going into all these rooms, you're finding things, you're finding dashes. Like I think the probably the coolest thing to do is like find this dash. And then the dash is what you need to get to the key. Because in this version, I was actually being a little bit more simple and just being like, all right, I'm going to use that barrel push. And you just push his barrel to the side and you just jump up and get the damn key. It's like super simple. But it's all the way in the closet, the very far end of the world.
Well, and that's what like if you look at the mural like board of that, like that's what you would be doing, you know, to probably like get the different elements once you get into the bar, right? Because it was kind of like, oh, D wants you to collect things. You know, like go and find things in the bar that she needs to help open it. And then that's when you're exploring and doing stuff, and that's where it would be like, oh, so now instead of, you know, it only being these little 4 rooms, it would be a dozen rooms that all interconnect with each other. And she would be like, you know, oh man, I gotta have garbage bags or whatever, right? And you would be like looking around and clicking on things and doing stuff, and maybe one thing says something about, uh beer bottles being hidden somewhere. And she's like, wasn't there any of that special reserve left? People love that, and you would be going and trying to find that kind of stuff. So I could see that being how it works here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's something up in the corner and now I need to go and get that.
And
I guess
maybe this is your guy. Or and if you want to do it as D, I guess I need a little D, but you could have this person was the
that's what she said.
Yeah, so you got this guy walking around. Every time you capture one of those things and you come back to this person, the dialogue could be different.
Yeah. Yes.
So
like we definitely need that.
So I think I have every piece in here. I almost need, and so going back to the agile form, we could say, you know what I mean by agile, right? We'll just have some lanes. We're like, okay, number one, let's make it to where the very first thing we're going to do is, it's not the key, because the key is the end of this. The first thing is you have to talk to D, you have to then go do this chore, and then talk to D again. And that is the first thing to do. It's like, so I go program that for the first one. You and I test that. Okay, talking to D works, going over here does the thing, coming back here, that feels fun. We got it right in place. Cool. Done on that part. Then we go and say, now you have this thing. You go back to D and you have to do the next part. And so we just line it out as like tasks on a board in succession, and we just keep doing those little incremental
and
runs.
I think I have that in the mural. Like, right, I think you could get a majority of the way through this entire tavern part, like with what is written out in the mural. So maybe it's just
do we have all the pieces though? Or like, is there everything that I just described? Because it seems as though maybe you didn't realize there was that little game element when I showed it to you.
It's just like I guess it didn't feel like the things were linked together like as much as we would want them in
Right.
the
It
game,
was
right? Which is like dialogue triggering other dialogue that then
right.
allows for new sections to be opened. And I guess like I probably should have just taken your intro like version that was there, but the one that you gave me was kind of these like blank these blank ones, and I was like,
Sure.
okay, well, I'll just like I'll do the little intro version and I'll try to like set it all up myself, which was probably, a bad idea.
I
But
was trying to be simple with it and say like, just see if you can get that to work. But I get where you're at, and so I know we're at 11:02, and we
yeah,
appreciate everyone that's been hanging out with us all this time.
totally.
I know Mike Azul's out there. Thank you for hanging out tonight. But what I think has been helpful for tonight, let's just review, is that first of all, we had a hell of a fun time on the stream tonight. We were
Yeah.
like, are we going to be able to make it multiple hours? We did because it was fun. But when we get to the game, I at some point soon, I'm not saying by next time, I know you're working on the house and things, I'd like to get something out there, not marketing to like, hey, come and buy this and do this, just to get the community around it so we can get some additional feedback from other elements of people.
Mhm.
I want something like that. That's one sprint that I hope we can come up with at some point. But aside from that, I think we got all the elements of a game in here. And what I was trying to do with this is not run too far ahead and say, hey, if you collect a key and run over to this door, you can unlock it. I understand that's simple as hell. That's MVP style. So now help me figure out what you would want to trigger to even get into the door of the closet to get to the key.
Yeah.
And so what I would imagine is you've built a scenario, but the scenario is for that first little room.
Hmm.
Do we want to do it to where I would love to have someone behind the bar that's standing there? Because it's like, it is a bar, and you would expect, and like, if it's opening
That's
up,
it. That's D. Like D
okay,
is standing behind the bar. So I would want her like walking back and forth and not leaving behind the bar,
okay.
right? Like so
I'm gonna have to
little
see how
bar,
I don't know how to
little
walk her back and forth, but I'll figure that out. So it might actually just be her not even like she doesn't even have legs. She's just like
yeah.
hovering back and forth, and that might be
Oh.
where that's at. But then what? Then so she's walking back and forth.
And then the alien is drunk and passed out on one of the bar stools.
At the
Like
bar or off
at
to the
at the
side.
bar. Like at the end of the bar, he's sort of like head down or something at the bar.
Is he ever gonna move or do a thing?
Yeah, like and he'll sometimes when you I would say sometimes when you click on him, and if he doesn't have anything to say, he just grumbles, right, or something, right? It's like or burps
Okay,
or whatever.
so then I need a D, and I need the drunk guy at the bar, and as sprite sheets. And then what I'll do is I'll program them in, and then the whole point will be that's the focal point at Skull Bob's. You have to talk to those people, and then
Hmm.
interchange between talking that will put you out on missions. All these doors, and I think the disconnect that we've had up to this point is that maybe I'm just inferring that you realize that I thought I had all the pieces on here, and that I'm saying we got to expand all this. Every door could be locked, and we could trigger something to unlock it. If you go to that sprites that we had with the collectibles that we were talking about, so these collectible items, I was like, what does the first one do? The coffee? What does the key? What does this? Like each one of these could not just get you a power, but it could unlock something. Because right now, what the this thing done? It was like a vertical slice to say, hey, when you get this, you get new cutscenes on that picture that you saw before. When you looked at the picture the first time, it just you read something. When you touch this and you go back to the picture, now it like flips it around. What we
Yeah,
have to do is
because that's the interactions you would have to plan out, right? Like because when you collect the super special beer that D needs, right? Then that's where she gives you the next clue of it, and also
correct,
tells you like, hey, that drunk at the bottom at the end of the bar has been like yelling your name while you were gone or something like that, right?
right,
And then he's maybe like more sitting up now or
right.
something, right? So I guess I mean, it can't, and I know we're at time, but like, it can't be that I just write out a story and then you go and do all of that. Like, that is way too much work on your end to be doing stuff. So,
That's,
how do you, and maybe this is something for us to think about, is like,
we're going back to
how
agile.
are we going to be able?
We just put
Yeah,
the
but
three couple things. Like let's chunk it. So let's just do the very first action of saying, okay, what is the first? Let's agree on it right now before we end. Is that we have all this already in here in the bar section. I think what's nice is you've played with this, you've done some work to understand what this takes, but let's just use what we have. And you get a D and a drunk guy at the bar. The first thing that we'll do is you'll walk in, you'll see the doors locked, and you're like, well, maybe I'll go on my walk later. And then you walk in the bar, you talk to D. It's the first thing you got to do, right? Talk to D.
can we do it? Can we do it like the story where they start at the front, they start in the
Sure.
entranceway?
Okay,
right?
so you
and
want
then and
so
you can't I think you got to do it where you can't get out of the entranceway until you
Okay.
do something.
So then you're into entrance. Is pick up a drunk guy at the bar, Ryan.
Yeah.
So there's something up here that you get. So maybe you start in here and it's like really inconspicuous that there's something up here. You talk. Is there a guy in this room or not?
I don't think so. I think
Okay, so-
you're world building at this point.
Okay.
You're trying to say like
I'll put this guy over here.
you know you're trying to say he's come in, he's like inherited the bar or something, like, so you're trying to say like, oh, there was a wake last night, people threw up in the thing, there was a whole big party here, we were celebrating his life, like there was people that we know, you know Roby is overwhelmed, we know that, or we gotta know that like the Robert Decker had a skull. That's why I did the statue, because I
Yeah.
thought that would be a way for him to be like, right, like he's super famous.
Well, could
who
we-
doesn't have a
I think you should do that. So the problem was we ran out of pixels on the world. Like it couldn't when you did the isometric. And what was it? If I click in this world, how many pixels we got? It usually tells you. I guess there's 120. So if we're able to put that in there and keep it under the 120 unique tile or 192, we should be fine. What would be really cool is if you go, you look at picture, there's something, you look at this picture, there's something, you go to the statue, you kind of like look at it and they're like, hey, you pull his finger and then like a little like thing farts out over here. I mean, you could literally do it to where you have to, once you interact, then something appears over on the side.
because I had it as like you find something in his bag,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Like is the thing, and you're like, right.
But it's almost like you want to be. If you just go up to it, click it, and you're like, yep, you find something in your bag, and you get through the door. Like, don't you want to
No.
like go to
No,
it?
it was more like you clicked, or I can't remember how it is in the mural board, but it was like,
Photo wall. I wish I'd known you better. Door locked. Screen. How am I supposed to get in this place? You get the barrel, and then you go down over here, and you say, clean.
no, that was going backwards.
Oh.
That was where you would go back to that barrel after you would come back.
Okay, gotcha. Oh,
So look at the critical path, the pink.
yeah, critical path. Jump on the window ledge. Push the barrel. Fill gap. Allow Ruby to dash across the gap. Click on the note hidden in the beer bottle. Text. Remember to check the satchel. Oh, that's right. It's Granddad's bag. So what you're saying is you have to read
The key is not up there. It's a note that tells you the
got it.
key is in the bag. And then once you get the key, then you're allowed to, then you get different dialogue for the bag, and you go, great, here it is.
Yeah.
And then you find that, and that allows you to get out.
Got it. So what you're saying is statues here. You go to statue. Oh, that was great grandfather. That's all it says. It keeps saying the same thing.
Something, or like different parts of the statue, like, maybe you click on the skull part if you jump up there, and that gives you a little bit of different
Learn
dialogue.
it. Gotcha. And then you run back here, and at some point you're like, what the hell? What do I need to do? And then you go and get this thing. The note says, hey, go do this thing. You're like, oh, crap. Then you go back to the statue. That gets
Yeah.
the thing, and then
Now when you click on the satchel, it goes, bling. You got
Gotcha.
you got the key. That's where you remember you hit
Yep.
the key, grandpa or granddad hit the key there.
Yep.
Uh,
And then now you get into the bar.
and now you get into the
All right,
bar.
let's just do that. That is it. If we can make that happen, that's it.
Sure.
Simple enough.
Great.
3 hours, and we got
3 hours and 15 minutes.
So honestly, it was formative today. I think we needed to
Totally.
devolve into some just random open conversation to get to that point. And so enjoy your painting if you're going to get down to that for tonight. And
Yeah, I might a little bit.
and thanks for the hangout, everyone. We've been appreciate you all just being with us tonight, giving some insights as we go along. Take your little things around. I'm excited. It just like re-energizes me for the game. I've been spending a lot of time. I think we've been doing enough off the sides that now this starts to put it together a little bit better.
Is you're going on vacation? Are you going to be back by the time the next show?
I'm just going for a week, so I will be out and enjoy the concert tomorrow. Yeah. No, I wish I could go, but I can't, so it's all good. Plus, I'm going to be packing now because I spent most of my time tonight. I have not started packing, and that's the one thing that stresses me out when I have to go somewhere. So.
Are you comfortable saying like the general area that you're going to? Like, is it
going to East Coast.
Going
to Boston.
The East Coast thing.
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that should be fun.
It should be a good time. But all right, well, everyone, thank you so much, and we will see you next time on Double Drop Down. And I don't know if you're streaming anywhere. I know you're in the midst of moves, so I've been doing a lot more like workbenches and stuff. So I'll probably be doing a couple of those.
Cool.
Probably next weekend, not this weekend, because I should be back and everything's going well. So until then, we will see you all. Have a good evening and good night.
Good night.
We're still streaming. Don't tell anybody. This is the after show where we say, "Oh my God, you punk ass, Ryan!
You're like, I'm quitting.
I'm done with this shit. God damn you!"
God, I'm sweating my balls. We have no air conditioning in here.
Oh my God! All right.
To talk about great time for air conditioning to go out the last 2 days.
I know. You're washing yourself off of the towel the whole time.
I know.
All right. I'm stopping the stream. Peace out.